Got it.
Yeah, over to you guys.
Are the participants in? Prince, please let the
Participants in, please, because now.
Yes, they're all coming in now. You probably see them. Just give it 5 seconds. Everyone will be in the room.
Okay.
Do this. Let's see. Ooh, angazi skinning. Here the way.
Laptop in there.
It's a laptop. Yeah, that's so much better. Like this.
So yeah, I think everyone is in.
No.
You can start.
There's no one here. I don't see anyone.
No, they are in.
Okay, we're using focus mode. That's why they all are. They're in the room. You can just go around.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a focus.
Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the second African Youth Summit from One Africa Forum. The theme of this year is strengthening the African legal structure for law and order, justice, peace, and freedom for progress. We will start with some music.
Yes, we have, hello everyone, so sorry. I am Doni from South Africa, and I'm one of your moderators. We have Maboto, who recently released his latest track. So that is the track we will be playing for you, and we'll be interviewing him.
All right, so I'll have to share my screen.
Yeah.
I have to
Yes,
share my
please.
screen so I can do that for you guys now.
Okay.
Thank you for the gift of life, Suran. Your love will never die, Suran. Suran, thank you for the gift of life, Suran. I know I can see the light, Suran. Your word will never lie, Suran. Suran. Hallelujah. 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 Amare, nascante su purezza, idorule che ne sa, esta sai du belle, sai du belle. Yaka yabu, referendum, and freedom. I am a day, my
Hello, everyone. How are you? Good afternoon.
Hello, my leaders. Thank you that you brought the fight, Suran. Thank you for the gift of life, Suran. Your love will never die, Suran. Suran. Thank you for the gift of life, Suran. Right now I can see the light, Suran. Your word will never lie, Suran. Suran.
That was great.
So yeah, I'm sure we're back here. Okay.
3 months, you know. Right, things like that. Then credit you know, you get what you get.
I don't know if Mr. Mabutu can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay.
Can you hear me as well?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly. So can you tell us a little bit about your song or inspirations and everything?
Hello?
I don't think he can hear us.
I think, can you hear us?
Maboto, can you hear us?
No. Yeah.
I think he can't.
His mic is mute. You can see that he's mute already.
Yeah.
Maboto, would you please unmute, please?
It's like my
I don't know. I'm not getting anybody. I'm not hearing anything.
Hi, Mr. Maboto, can you hear me? Maboto?
Okay, I think we can move to the welcoming speech and then we go back to Mr. Maboto.
I think we can certainly do so.
Okay.
Aslam says the sound is not working, which means
Okay. Okay, maybe we can ask Prince to fix this. People can't unmute their mics. I don't know.
Maboto, you should be able to unmute right now. Yeah, just say hello. I can see you're not mute anymore. Just say hi. Mr. Maboto? All right. I can see he's not mute already. So yeah, I don't know about the others as well. But I know every other person cannot mute right now on mute because we're just trying to have decorum here. But for Maboto, his mic is fine.
Okay. So I see people are joining from London, Egypt, Rwanda, South Africa. I'm here on echo.
Hi, I see Maboto is back. Hello, how are you, Maboto? Hi, Ndlanka. We can see you. We see people from all over the world. Jesus, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, let's just move on to the welcoming speech from the coordinators of One Africa Forum, the country coordinators. Are you here? Can you unmute yourself? Okay. Okay, there is technical problem. We will fix it.
Okay. Hello,
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Isa from Senegal.
Pardon?
I say Isa from Senegal.
Hi, Isa, how are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, happy to be here with you.
And we are happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Maboto, can you hear me?
Yes, well.
Thank you. Can you try to speak up?
I try to do it.
Your sound is fine now. I can hear you properly now.
Okay.
Okay, can you kindly tell us about yourself and the kind of music that you do and what inspired the song that we just played a few minutes ago?
Okay. My name is Samuel.
Maboto, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you please leave the meeting and then come back again, because it seems like we're having a glitch with your sound system.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it okay now?
Properly. Perfect.
Okay. My name is Samuel Paul Daniel. I am known as Maboto Motivated. I come from South Sudan, Juba. I'm a South Sudanese gospel artist. I'm a photographer. I'm a graphic designer. I am a social activist and a music team leader with the Anataban Arts Initiative, a movement that advocates for social activism in South Sudan. And that song Shukran is one of my songs from an album I was working on, and it's one of the songs that I released. It's called Shukran. Shukran is an Arabic word for thank you, and in South Sudan we speak a lot of Arabic. Yeah, because of our history of the country has a lot of Arabs affiliated kind of stories. So we speak a lot of Arabic in South Sudan, and the word shukran in Arabic is shukran. I mean, is thank you. Sorry, and I did this song to tell God thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for everything that you've been doing, because I remember a few years ago, just not even a few years, I think a year ago, we've been struggling with the global pandemic that had almost caused everybody to be indoors, and there was no movement, almost everything was down. And I'm very sure, if not many, some of us might have lost our dear loved ones in the pandemic, and we have made it to this far, and it's one of the reasons why I did that song, to tell God thank you. You've been good to us, and in the church we believe most of the times we go against God and do things that do not obey God, but still is a faithful Father. That when you go wrong, He does not chase you away. He still loves you even after disobeying Him. So it's just a song telling God thank you so much for the unconditional love. Yes.
That is wonderful. That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And
Yeah.
Can you kindly tell us about what are you working on currently, and what can we expect from you in the nearer coming future? And how does it feel to be an African in South Sudan? For people who are like me, Doni, I am in South Africa. I don't know anything about South Sudan. I don't know what's going on there. Can you start with what are you working on currently, and what can we expect from you in the future?
Currently, just like I said, I'm a social activist, and I'm one of these South Sudanese who stands up in my country and speak against social injustices and things like that. And apart from that, I'm still working on the album that I just told you, and I have a few movements that I'm going to do around. I have shows that I'll be part of in East Africa, that is in Uganda, and then I will be having other few events in South Sudan. And it's Africa is home. It's awesome to be an African, and I'm glad that I'm an African, and I'm a South Sudanese, and I just love I love this country, and not only being an African, but then an African who's useful to the country. So it's amazing being an African, and I thank God that I'm one of those Africans who is standing out and making sure that I preach togetherness and unity among us other Africans all over from South Sudan and across Africa.
Well, thank you very much, Maboto. Thank you very much. It was nice having you. Now, I would like to ask you one last question before we leave. With regards to today's focus, are you happy with the justice system in South Sudan? If
Sorry,
not,
come again.
Are you satisfied and happy with the justice system in South Sudan?
Of course, I'm not happy. That's why I am an activist. And when I'm an activist, that means there is something that is. Of course, there are things that are happening, and that's why I am who I am today. So I won't really say I am happy. I am not happy, and that's why I'm an activist, and that's why I want to make sure that whatever thing that is going on, I want to be part of it. I want to make sure that there is equality. I want to make sure that everybody receives all the privileges of being a citizen of this country. So I'm not happy, and that's why I am an activist, and I will only be happy when everyone is happy.
Okay. What do you think your government can change in order for your justice system to be in a way that it accommodates everyone, that everyone is happy about it? What do you think your government can do to change that? Osman?
Yes. Come on. Yes. You're saying something?
No, I was asking what are the changes that you are seeking from your government in terms of your justice system?
South Sudan is the youngest country in the world, I would say, and of course, as a young, let me say, as a young country, we are having so many challenges that any other young country has ever had, and right now we are struggling with the economic crisis. Prices of things are very high, and insecurity. It's so much in so many other places. I live within Juba. I am in the city, the capital city, but outside of Juba, there are other places where there are a lot of insecurity cases. Few weeks ago, I had to evacuate my grandmother from a town where she was staying because there was a lot of communal fights. There were a lot of communities fighting each other, and everyone ran away from that town. So I had to bring her to Juba, and she's within now. She's within Juba. So there are so many other things. I might not really remember many of them, but then
Yeah.
insecurity it's so much, and it's one of the things I feel my government could work on that. And then um, 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 uh, in this country, there is so much perception about young people. I had dreadlocks in my head a few months ago, and sometimes I could not move at night with my dreadlocks because I can easily be harassed by the soldiers, and because in this country they think everyone that had dreadlocks is a wrong person, is a wrongdoer, and those kind of things. So there's so many things. Yeah, there's so many things, but yeah, we'll overcome.
Okay, thank you very much. It was great having you, Mabotom.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to seeing your next project. Looking forward to seeing you doing most of those social activities. And I hope you achieve each and every dream that you are working toward. Thank you very much. It was great having
Thank
you.
you.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Africa Day. God bless.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Maboto. I see Osman. I think he wants to say something. Please unmute yourself.
Okay.
Osman Mubarak. Please unmute yourself. Yes. Hello. You can speak. Mr. Osman, speak please. If you have any questions or comments. Um,
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, proceed, please.
Hello, all leaders.
Hello, I see this is from Ahmed Nuh, maybe. He is the one speaker. He is the one speaking now, right?
Hello, all leaders. I am Ahmed Nuh from Egypt.
Okay, welcome.
Egypt is the land of pyramids and the Sphinx. I am very happy with this summit that included Africa youth.
Okay, thank you. So I think this was the welcoming speech from our coordinator in Egypt. Since Mr. Osman is not here, we can move on to the welcoming speech from our coordinators from the countries of Africa. I would like to call for Namibia.
Yeah, hello, can I say something? I am Ahmed.
Yeah. Okay, Osman was trying to talk, but
Hello?
we cannot hear.
I think he is
Hello, is
having
everybody getting me?
network issues.
Yeah. Who is speaking, please? Okay. Namibia, the coordinator of Namibia, are you here?
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Yes, I am.
Hello.
Hi, how are you guys?
We are fine, and you?
I'm all right.
Okay. You can start.
All right. So I'm quite happy and excited for this initiative. I think it's timely and it's a good one for us to have young people from all across the continent come and talk about law and protection and order in their respective countries and how we can sort of collectively hold hands and ensure a safe and secure Africa for all youth. So I'm looking forward to great input from everybody, and I officially welcome everyone from my country and from all the other countries to participate and engage as far as they can. Yeah, that's my short intro and welcoming remark.
So please, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, my name is Comrade Mubarak Teacher Usman from Nigeria, as popularly known as the Youth Peace Ambassador.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm doing good, and how are you?
We're doing
Fine.
good, thank you.
So thank you very much. I just have a little contribution which I would like to share with you. Regarding to the topic of today, I can see that we are talking about the legal system within our countries or within Africa. As Nigeria is the largest and the modern country in Africa, I think we should be the one to set example in which other countries may like to adopt or copy from us. But very unfortunate, what is going on within the Nigeria is quite not encouraging, and it's also something that we need to stand up and do something about it. I was born and brought up in Plateau State, that is Jos, and many things have been happening. I was invited for an interview with the NTA TV television station while an incident happened. There is a clash between the farmer headers and the farmer had a story, which some cow entered to somebody's farm and destroy it, and the farmers report to the authorities, and the authorities fail to do something. The farmers come back and take laws into their hands, while the owners of the cows have come back to take a revenge. And this is how it escalates to something else. So if at the first time when the farmers reported, the authorities were able to do something or to take care of it, I believe it would have escalated or nothing would have happened. Because of that thing, or because of that little crash between the farmer and the herders, there was a tension in the state. There is crisis that has happened because there is no any legal system. Nobody is believing in the legal system in Nigeria no more, because whenever you take the courts or the case to the courts, if you have money or if you know people or if you are in power, so definitely nothing will happen, no matter the nature of the case or no matter what had happened to you. So I am just calling the attention of Africa and the Nigerian leaders at large to be the model of Africa, reframe and restraining the legal policy or any means of bringing a sustainable policy that will help us and guide us in order to have faith in the policy of Nigeria so that other countries can be able to adopt it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution. We will just move like quickly to the coordinators, and then we will open the floor to your comments and questions, okay?
It's okay.
Okay, thank you so much. So I will call our coordinator in Ghana. Please unmute yourself, turn on your camera.
Hi.
Hello.
Barbara Kunedu, Country Coordinator for One African Forum. I bring you greetings from Ghana. We are happy to be part of this forum where the very best of influential personalities within and outside the continent have gathered under one roof to share their immense theoretical and practical knowledge with us. Legality is the foundation of peace and stability in every country, in which my country, Ghana, is not an exception. Hence, strengthening African legal structure is a very prudent way of ensuring peace and unity in our various countries. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something interesting in my country that I'm proud of as a Ghanaian, and that is how legal procedures are being used to settle electoral challenges in my country. This is something I can proudly talk about the whole day. No wonder they keep saying,
Okay. Thank you, Barbara. So the next country is Morocco.
thank you, and may God and Allah bless us all.
Thank you so much. So the next country is Morocco. So the Kingdom of Morocco is located in the northwest of Africa. Its strategic location makes it a very diverse country. So besides the native North African Amazigh heritage, it has a deep influence from the Arabic and European cultures. Morocco is a great country with an old history, but unfortunately, just like other African countries, it faces a lot of challenges, especially in the fields of education, healthcare, and corruption. The next country will be South Africa. So please unmute yourself, the coordinator.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Hi. Greetings to everyone, especially our CEO, Mr. Erahan, our honorable guest, and our honorable speakers in the whole of Africa. My name is Mimi Langa. I'm from South Africa. I'm very proud to be here today. I'm very proud to be among the best in Africa. There's a thing, there's the saying that says, you can take me out of Africa, but you cannot take Africanism in me. I believe that most of African countries are complaining about the justice system. Obviously, even here in South Africa, we are also complaining. The purpose of the One Africa Forum organization is to promote unity and solidarity of the African states and to intensify their cooperation and efforts to achieve a better life for the people of Africa. So the journey will be long, but I have no doubt that many victories are ahead of us. It is not always that those who dare to initiate a great undertaking have to conclude it. But however, we must work hard and do our best to be found deserving from the future generations, like our speaker today, who is Jakeni Tanya, is just a grade 9 learner at the high school level, yet she is here with us today and as a speaker. So we should work hard for those that are coming after us and after us. But I believe that together we will succeed. Africa is my home. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Senegal, can you unmute yourself, please?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, dear brother and sister. My name is Issa Chen, African from Senegal. I am the coordinator of One Africa Forum in Senegal. It is an honor for me to celebrate with you this day. It represents for us a day of union and fraternity. The Senegal that I represent is one of those African countries that have always participated in the unity of the continent, like former President Met Abdoulaye Wade, who was at the forefront during the creation of NEPAD. NEPAD means New African Partnership for Development. I believe that this initiative that brings us together today will contribute to the total integration of Africa. Like all African countries, Senegal have some problems of legal system. And I hope that this kind of discussion can help us to find some solution to discuss with young Africans from all to find a solution. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Issa. And lastly, Cameron. Cameron, coordinator, please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself if you are here. The coordinator of Cameron. Okay. Okay, I think they are not here. Okay.
Okay, I think we should, sorry, I think we should move on to our first speakers, to Mr. and Mrs. Jackson from the My Quest to Teach. Are they here?
Good morning. Evening. Thank you. I am here. Aida is at work. So I'm actually at school, which brings an extra wonderful dynamic. And hopefully y'all can hear us because I have to stay masked because we still are dealing with bits of the pandemic and other issues as well. So how's everybody doing today?
We are doing very well. Thank you, sir. And how are you doing?
Doing wonderful, doing wonderful. We are closing down our school year. So Friday is our last day So you can hear the students behind me. They're on the computers, playing some games, doing some makeup work. But I am so happy to be here and representing not just myself, but my wife and other educators as well. So it's great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So can you kindly tell us, with regards to today's topic, are you satisfied? Are you happy with our African legal system?
I think even though I don't live in Africa, I've always had aspirations to visit and collaborate with the educational system. I think one of the important aspects is that the systems in place are geared more towards rehabilitation and education as well, because it's really important that, you know, people are going to make mistakes, people are going to get caught up in situations and circumstances that sometimes are beyond their control. And this is a global thing, not just Africa, but I think the legal system needs to be adapted to the current situations that people are being exposed to, and provide those resources as far as educational resources, economic resources, mental health resources, and holistic resources that help that person who is involved in the justice system to not return, but leave better than they came in. And I think the mindset, unfortunately, is more of a detention and holding aspect, but not a rehabilitation and helping aspect that needs to be done. So, and looking at how even here in the States, you know, people are incarcerated, but they're given very limited resources for education, very limited resources to improve themselves economically when they get out, that you know, things do need to be changed, and it needs to be applied a holistic, not just punishment.
Okay. Thank you very much. Would you say you are happy with the correctional services that you have when it comes to imprisonment, to people who are in prison? Would you have like that? Would you say you are happy about that, the system they are applying in prison, and in the forms that prisoners come out in? Would you say that you are happy with that?
Absolutely not, because they are not provided the services that they need, the physical health services, the mental health services, and the educational services. And it seems that many people that go into institutionalized correctional systems, when they come out, they're worse off than when they went in. And even when they're released, they're more or less thrown out on their own without even the monetary resources to find housing, proper food, proper clothing. So these definitely have to change in order for the betterment of society. Because looking into this aspect, you know, 85 to 90% of those that are released go back to where they were born or where they were raised, but they're back into that current situation that they're in. And this isn't helpful at all. And they're not provided resources that help them to grow and move beyond where they came from. So in our current systems, no, it's not very helpful at all. Now, you may have, you know, a few that will be released and have access to resources only because family members either have the money or the connection or the political clout that we see in some cases. But overall, no, there aren't benefits at all. And I say this from a personal perspective because I have unfortunately nephews that have been incarcerated, and other family members. And, you know, being a family member, I try my best to help them and assist them. But once they are in, there aren't any resources. And when they're let out, it's up to families to help them. But many cases, families themselves are struggling and don't have those resources to help them.
Okay. Can you I want to raise the Russian phone. Okay.
All right, I'm here.
Okay. I wanted to give it to my fellow moderator. Do you want to ask anything? Do you want to say anything to Mr. Jackson?
I want actually to ask the participants if they have any questions to Mr. Jackson, or any comments about what he has just said.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
I ask here?
Yeah, please.
Yes. I'm actually very in line to everything you just said, Mr. William Jackson. I do believe that is a lot of things to be done in regards to the systems we have in place, not only where you are, but also here where I am in UK. And I grew up in Portugal. That's my first language, Portuguese, but I'm Cape Verdean. And I strongly believe that it is important to have a proper structure to, first of all, prevention is important, and also responsibilities that we should all have in regards to youths, families. But unfortunately, we all have a system to academically educate us. You know, I think we should look at not only that. I think countries' laws should be focused also in values, principles, education. I think is really important. What I noticed while I was growing up in Portugal is that maths, and even in here in UK, maths, science, and English is the most important subject in schools. All these things need to be changed, need to be look at it. But when we talk about education, is a very sensitive thing, and people don't understand how important it is to our legal procedures. The crime is actually getting worse. It's not getting better. As we develop our structures in many other things, technology, we are getting worse in relationships, you know, in foundation. So all these things need to be looked at, all these things need to be restructured. And one of the things that if we want to tackle legal procedures, I think we should start talking, looking at education side, and come to enforce more values and principles in schools, and also values and principles in community groups, organizations. Tell them that this is what we need to have in order to work as a community leader, work as a business organization. So if you don't actually feel the standards, you won't be able to do to perform your work, because you're not well equipped to proceed your business or to proceed your education. And even though we're talking about legal, that will have an effect on writing our legal policies and procedures. So I strongly believe, and I just want to add that. Yeah, thank you.
And thank you for sharing those points, because you know there have been historical events that we all know of, people that have been incarcerated, and even when they're released, they've made global transformative changes in the world, because they still have that burning passion for human rights, for the value, like yourself, education, for family. But they have that support system. Malcolm X one time made a statement that it is a tragedy for people to be incarcerated, but the continued tragedy is, and I'm paraphrasing, the continued tragedy is that it's the continuous cycle of being incarcerated and not being provided those resources and that help to stay out of the system. And too many cases where, you know, individuals, men and women, and even youth in this day and age are incarcerated for some reason, but they're not helped consistently to stay out of that situation. And, you know, education is one aspect, mental health resources is another aspect, even the mindset of those that are administrators in that realm of incarceration or or justice system. Their mindset still is not on the rehabilitation aspect. It is on the incarceration for as long as possible, how to use that person that is incarcerated as and I'll say that slave labor, instead of building them up so when they get out, they can be a benefit to society. And those mindsets, unfortunately, are still there. And with the way the world is going towards technology and innovation and the internet and metaverse, when people are released from incarceration, they're going to be even more so lost because they don't have those skill sets. And that continues to add a burden to the social economic status of you know, nations across the continent, because so much is changing. You know, Africa at one time, and it still is, was such an agricultural stronghold, but because the advent of technology and education, now it's to the point where you have to have an understanding of how computers work, how the metaverse works, how Web.3, robotics. So if you're in that realm where you're not learning, when you get out, it's a hindrance to you.
Strongly agree with that.
So
you are mute. You are mute, Gina.
Okay.
You're trying to speak. But
oh, how's that? Okay. But can you hear me? Okay.
I was saying that Zinat was Arabat. She's mute. She was trying to speak.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Mr. Jackson. Can we take one last question from Sharif? Sharif Abraham, hi. Sharif. Sharif Abrahams, can you hear me? Okay, it seems like he doesn't hear me or he's not ready to ask. Can I quickly ask you, Mr. Jackson, to briefly describe an everyday life of a person who's been incarcerated in the US, like their daily life routine, and what is it that they do when they are in there?
Well, one of the things is they go through a process where they are admitted into the prison or the jail where they're, for lack of a better term, boarded in. All their identification is checked. All their information is loaded into the computer. They are given several items of clothing, which are theirs. All their personal items, whatever they have on them, are locked away until their future release dates. But their identity, as far as their name, is taken away and they're given a number. And that's their identity for the length of their incarceration. So you're taking that human aspect away and you're applying a number to them. And they're not given a name. They're either called by their number, or in some cases, inhumanely, they're referred as convict or prisoner or some other derogatory name. When they are in that environment, there is a sense of lawlessness because the officials or the guards or the administration are just monitoring the activities of what's going on. So even though there are laws, there are policies or procedures, it's still an open forum where people are at times let free to walk around and communicate, but it's a microcosm of itself that represents not necessarily the good parts of society, but the parts of society that people want locked away in an incarcerated system where there aren't any resources to help build self-confidence, self-esteem, unity or collaboration. That's why you hear a lot about gangs that are in prison, because the gangs are used to reinforce that mindset of, this is my territory, I run this, I'm in charge of it. And despite what we hear about, the laws that are going on in the legislature, when you're in those environments, it is a continuous environment of fear, of anger, of separation and segregation, not just of color, but of culture, of language, because people try to find the safety within that particular group that they could relate to, just for the safety aspect. And even those that want to, seek independence to stay by themselves, they still need to have that inner protection, that if someone does approach them in a potentially violent way, that they can protect themselves. So, and these are things that people share that these institutions don't share outside the realms because of legalistic policies and practices. But and depending on what country you're in, your human rights are consistently violated. You may need specific medical treatment, but you don't get it. You may have monies in many cases that are sent to you by family members when you're incarcerated to buy certain things, but you may not get either all of those funds, or even when you purchase something, it may not be the best quality. So if it breaks, you're not only are you out of that that item, but you're out of that money. And I'll give a case in point. In some institutions, prisoners are allowed to have tablets and access to the internet, limited access. But the tablet may only work for a certain amount of time, and then if it breaks, there's no way to send it back to get fixed. There's no way for refunds for family members that purchased it. Also, items of clothing. If there's certain items, family members are able to send money in to family members or friends, but they may not. Let's say if they need socks, they may try to purchase 10 pair of socks, but the person may only be given 5 pair because those other 5 are taken as barter or what other reason. So those basic human rights are denied and taken away. And the other aspect too is you look at the environment, the physical environment. It is not always the cleanest. It is not always the best with access to clean running water, restroom facilities, and other areas within the physical realm of that, building. And we hear stories from time to time, and when people do get out, they share, what's going on, what's happening. But the general concern of the humanity of that person that's incarcerated is not really considered, I should say that. And that contributes to additional mental health issues when people are released, because they have to adapt from not just being in that environment continuously, but now they're out in the real world and they have to get over or understand that they're not incarcerated, they're in the real world, but they have to cope with now the situations with the real world. So hopefully I answered your question.
Well, I'm satisfied with your answer. Thank you.
Thank you so
You have well
much.
answered me. Thank you very much. I don't know if there's anyone else who has any questions for you, but from my side, I am sorted.
Yeah, I think we can move to the next speaker because we are running out of time. So I would call Miss Tanya Giacchini.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. For the people who are raising their hands, don't worry, we will give you the chance to speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Firstly, I would like to convey my regards to you, to all of you, my Africans. I am here today because nothing makes me happy than seeing an African child prospering a Ferrari in a human form. Today, I will be giving my own views about how I see African youth in future. As we all know, youth people face early pregnancies, some are smoking drugs, and some drop out of school due to some unforeseen circumstances. All those challenges make our African nations hopeless, but at the end of the day, everything on earth has a solution. Youth people need to be encouraged and show how life can be unpredictable. They must be told that there are rats and everyone can escape those rats. Dropping out of school was never a good thing. As Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. I believe that the youth that is stressed because of unemployment, from today they can start volunteering. That will make them great leaders in future. All this costs determination and dedication. From today, youth must believe in themselves. They must not allow any challenge to conquer them. In that case, in future, we'll bring back Africa's dignity and will inspire and lead the young generation. All this needs unity. Without unity, we cannot do this. If we unite as Africans, we shall conquer it all. There is nothing better than unity. That's why we're having Africa Day. So I believe that we must unite and we must believe in ourselves more so that we can build the better Africa. Remember, we are all Africans. We are just separated by the fence. Let us work hard. Let us make mark, leave legacy for the next coming generation. African, my pride. I am a mixture of African blood. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Sharif Abraham. Can you now speak? Yeah, please. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, please, if you have a question. We can. You can speak. We can hear you. Oh, I think you have.
Yes.
iPhone, please unmute yourself. Please mute yourself. Okay. Okay, Mr. Sharif Abraham, I think you have a technical problem. So if anyone has any comments or
Hi everyone.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. I just wanted to salute my love sister. What an amazing speech. My name is Georgina. I'm proud to say I'm an African mother. You know, I raised 4 amazing kings, but at the moment I live in the UK. And what this sister said really touched my heart because my passion lies in the young people. Anything that I relate to young people, that's my passion. But I think that it's important for us to create a platform that allows young people to be the voice. If we wanted to create a better system, a better infrastructure, young people have to be part of the decision make. We have to change the leadership system, how the leaders operate in our Africa country. We have to create a leadership system where the priority comes create an opportunity for the life for our people, because we all believe that our young people, that are the future of today and tomorrow. So it's our duty collective mind, collective forces, collective idea come together and create that platform that allows young people to come and talk about the issues they are facing in our society. We see the level of crime have rises, but we need to ask why. Because there's not enough resources, there's not enough opportunity for our young people to become a youth of excellence. We need to invest in our education system, like our brother from America, I think it was William Jackson mentioned about it. The education system is the key. If we invest in the career development for our young people to prevent the level a rise of mental health amongst young people as well, aftercare system to support young people that are maybe coming from mental hospital, or maybe people that have lost their loved ones, where is the system? It's not designed to support those young people. And then I think it's about time that we have to be united as Africa, we have to start looking and investing on Africa. We have the privilege that some of us live in Europe, but our mind have to continue to be leading Africa. What can we do here? Learn how the systems work in this developing country and apply the same policies, the same system, let's implement it in Africa. Let's create an opportunity for young people to become a youth of excellence. And that I think it is important for us to create more opportunity like this. It's my first time to be here, and I'm so excited. I'm overwhelmed to listen to all the speakers. They spoke about different topics related to Africa. And I believe a conversation like this is a starting point. This is the starting point. Open up a platform that invite a gray-minded, which is our young people, come together and share the issues they are facing. How can we collectively continue to support them? How can we collectively, as united, one Africa, provide the resources that are so our young people, they become a youth of excellence? That's just my contribution towards our lovely sister just mentioned about youth, because it's my passion, it's my heart, and anything to do with youth, it is me. I just wanted to say thank you for a great honor to be here, and that I can't wait to listen to the others. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we will move to our next speaker, Mr. Summit.02. Yeah, please unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, all.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure for me to be here. My name is Summit.02 from Kenya, practicing Kenya. So, yes, I think echoing what Mr. Jackson was saying from a legal perspective, justice should be looked at less from a retributive perspective and more to a restorative perspective. In order to have people coming out from incarceration reformed rather than punished and traumatized from their experience in there. I'll just give a short history of the justice system in Kenya. And we've come from a place where the president of the Republic wielded such high amounts of power, and the other arms of government, parliament and the judiciary, were being used as weapons for the president to force the wish of the president on the population. 12 years ago, we voted in and adopted a new constitution. It's still a work in progress in terms of implementation. And in this constitution, it created a lot of independence for the various arms of government. The judiciary now operates very, very independently of the executive, and parliamentary sessions are now recorded on live streams, and so people can hold their legislators accountable. And this is from a legal perspective. And I think an important discussion that we should be having in this forum amongst us is also economic justice for the people of Africa. And this is something that is probably drive across all African countries, and it's the access of the African people to economic opportunities such as basic things like housing, clean water, power, and resources that basically are used to create a better life for people. I think, yeah, that's my initial statement. I don't know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel. Okay, if you have any questions, please, this is
I
an
have a
open
question.
conversation. You just feel free to ask your questions or comments.
Can I? Yes, sir. I wanted to ask one question. In his perspective, in what areas of educational change are needed? Being here in the United States, our educational system is different, obviously, than in Africa. And having taught virtually with some schools online, from what I understand, when you get to a certain grade level, parents have to pay for the education of their children. I believe it's a secondary. By our system, it's free all the way through. But in what the gentleman was saying, what areas would he recommend that need to be changed in the educational system, if he doesn't mind?
Yeah, thank you for that. And I think I'd look at it from a whole, and this is education, basic education, meaning from elementary school all the way to university. And this, from African perspective, let's just be honest, we're coming from a place where we don't have such a large educated population. So how it happened in Kenya initially was in 2002 when our late President Mwai Kibaki was voted in. He had this policy of free primary education. So every student in a public school didn't have to pay for education. And then when they got to high school, then they had to drop out of school because, well, they're unable to pay for education. And one thing that happened with the free primary education is that the systems were not built to take the number of students who were actually going to school at that time. And for that reason, I say, I mean, even if it's access to education for everyone, it's also creating, it's not just a money thing, it's also a system thing where all students have equal access to material, to classrooms, where classrooms are not overcrowded, and and the basics. So it starts from the bottom and moving slowly as you tweak your system, to take up this access.
Okay, thank you. Because what really impresses me is the desire to gain an education, to be productive in their individual communities and their nations. And what I find so helpful for me as a teacher is that students know that there is a lack of resources, but they're always willing to want to learn more. And my wife and I have been working with a group called Clever Minds Academy in the Delta region of Nigeria. And we are just so humbled at the fact that even though they have a couple of laptops, their electricity is run by a generator, and we're using WhatsApp and cell phones to give instruction. But each time we have class on Monday mornings, they love the instruction because we're sharing with them things that here kids in the United States here take for granted, but they're actually learning about computers and technology. And just seeing their faces when they're doing a presentation, they're drawing, they're writing. We recently had a project called "What Does Africa Mean to Me?" And just the beautiful presentations they did. They drew pictures, they wrote things, and we were so happy that not only did they present it in English, but they presented it in their native language, and how much they desired to learn and to be educated. And one young person even made the comment that that one day they're going to be the leaders of their country, and they want to be as educated as possible to help as many people. So thank you for sharing that, and it's just great to see this.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, this is Prince from Nigeria. I hope it's good time to comment.
Sure.
I've been listening. Thank you. This is a great event, I must say. And I'm a lawyer. And the topic, the theme of the event is, I know it's all about law and the role of law. And I like the unstructured way the conversation has been going. People are free to make comments on different issues affecting Africa. But I always, when I'm in this kind of conversation, I mean, it's not every day you get to have this kind of rich continent-wide assembly of great minds sharing ideas about what is happening in different parts of Africa. So what I always encourage us to do as we talk about the negatives from our different countries, let's also talk about the things that are working. For instance, I want to know that certain laws are changing lives, are impacting the economy, are helping the governance in each country. So talking about Nigeria, some of the things happening around Nigeria is something some of you may be aware. I'm a commercial lawyer, but I've also played in the political sector. So what I would say is, how can we use the law to change the story of Africa? And I tend to answer that question by asking myself, what are the challenges facing Africa? Each of those challenges, how can we use law to solve the challenges? And some of you are aware of the new kid on the block, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which I always like to talk about, because it's one way we can bring Africa together, right? Both in terms of policy, both in terms of trade, but in terms of anything. Any problem we want to solve, we can actually solve that problem under the platform of the Free Trade Agreement. Because the challenges we often face is, you want to do business in Africa, you have a lot of different legal regimes. You have to register your intellectual property in Egypt. You come to South Africa, you have to register your intellectual. Why can't we have a unified legal system like you have in Europe, for instance? And that's one of the solutions that I think the African Continental Free Trade Area will solve when it starts being fully implemented. But talking about my experience in Nigeria, what I've done to help to improve my society is to be very active within my professional association. In Nigeria, we have the Nigeria Bar Association, which is a body of lawyers. So each time we gather, we ask ourselves, what are the things we can do to improve the society in area of governance, in area of criminal justice system, in area of ease of doing business, right? And I can start by sharing some good news that today you can register a company from the comfort of your office in Nigeria. In fact, I registered a company for a foreign client just last week, and it took me like 3 days to get that company registered. It's something that was never possible in Nigeria before now. I mean, you could spend like a month to get a company just registered. But today, because of the impact of technology, the interface between technology and law, I can register a company both for a local client and a foreign client within a week. So that is part of the advocacy that we've done both at the professional association level, the Nigeria Bar Association, trying to preach how we can use law to improve the ease of doing business. In area of governance too, I was part of the committee that deliberated on the electoral reforms. Nigeria has its electoral law recently amended to improve democracy, improve governance in Nigeria, right? To give people more say in their governance. So I'm proud to have been part of the some of the suggestions we made. And that's how we can use law to improve the society. So you can talk about the health system, you can talk about the security. I mean, a lot of people talk about the justice system, which is an area that Nigeria is still struggling, because we have the good laws. I mean, sometimes I must say this, that it's not just about having the laws, it's having the political will to implement these laws, right? You may have a good law, but if those laws are not implemented, I mean, it doesn't benefit anyone. For instance, you have a law in Nigeria that says you can't arrest me for a crime committed by, say, my brother, for instance, or my father. But today in Nigeria, police officers who is looking for a suspect can actually arrest the brother of the suspect just to get to the suspect. So the law forbids that, but they go outside that law. And you ask them,
That's
say,
interesting.
the brother received, and they will tell you, the brother received funds from the suspect, the mother received funds from the other. So you see that those laws are actually there, but it's just the political will to implement the laws. And that's where education comes in. Because when we have these laws and policies, we also need to educate the people whose responsibility it is to implement these laws. The law enforcement agencies, the government agencies. Let them understand the role they have to play to implement these laws, right? So, I mean, Africa, like I said, we have numerous challenges, and some of those challenges are not peculiar to Africa. But because we have weak institutions, it makes it difficult to even take advantages of some of the good laws that we have, right? Some of those ones I've highlighted. And I was talking to a friend just yesterday. I said, well, people are talking about shooting in the United States of America. We're also talking about shooting here in Nigeria, but the difference is that when people commit crime over there in the United States, within 24 hours, someone gets apprehended, right? someone gets, when someone commits a crime, he gets apprehended and prosecuted. That's just what makes the difference. But here in Africa, in Nigeria, for instance, someone might commit a crime and it will take months to even get the person. So these are the challenges that we need to start looking at. How do we enforce the laws that currently exist? And I know that we're out of time. I will just have to stop here. I wish we had more time. There are more to say, but if there's a specific question about Nigeria legal system or the role of law, I'm available to take the question. Other than that, I'll just be here to enjoy the contributions from other speakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brent.
If it is something.
And I just want to say that the son of Mr. Brent's birthday is today, so we just all wish him a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to him.
Thank you.
Can we get a slice of cake?
Yeah.
Can we get a piece of cake?
Sure, you will.
Happy birthday to him.
Thank you.
Make a contribution.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to welcome Mr. Benjamin Anya. He is the Chief Superintendent from Ghana. We are very happy to have you here with us, Mr. Anya. And we will move to our next speaker. And he is Mr. Stephen Awusu Aje from Ghana. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you very much. My name is Stephen Osweje. It may be difficult to pronounce because it's
sorry.
Yeah, nice to meet you, and happy AU Day to everybody, African Union Day.
Yeah.
So for me, I've seen the topic, and it's a very interesting one. Now, I think that it's important that we, look at Africa, the perspectives that cut across, the legal structures that we intend to consolidate or strengthen. In this presentation, I had a discussion with friends, the ambassador in South Africa, and then also with Barbara, One Africa Forum. Initially, I wanted to do a presentation, but I realized that it would take the normal, well-rehearsed lecture presentation, but I just wanted to speak from the heart. Now, like my brother from Nigeria mentioned, so to introduce myself, I'm a lawyer in Ghana, managing counsel for A.O. Stevens. We do criminal law, commercial and corporate transactions and litigations. But the topic really caught my attention. Now, law, order, justice, peace, and freedom for progress. It's not to say we don't have laws in Africa or particularly in Ghana. And I've had a further deliberation with Barbara, and my topic was whittled down to the collaborative role of the youth and in ensuring a fair and speedy trial. But I think that it goes hand in hand with what the topic says, strengthening the African legal structure, so that what exactly do we want this continent to look like in 50 years? That is the primary question we should ask ourselves, because it appears that we are not growing, the youth are not growing. And when I say the youth, I don't mean persons who are 40 years, I mean persons between 15 and 35. At least we know that African Youth Charter has explained that myself, who is turning 37 this year, is not a youth anymore. So we have a Herculean task to deal with. I'm going to share an experience with you. I've practiced for a while in Ghana, criminal law, and that's where most of the challenges are. Now you see, you have somebody who is arrested and he has no lawyer. Sometimes maybe even the person is charged with murder. And that's even the extreme, but say stealing. And then the person is asked to, a lay person is asked to cross-examine a witness. And it could be terrible because this person has no idea of what their rights are, the right to counsel, and then the fact that they can actually ensure that they get counsel, they get a lawyer for themselves out through pro bono services or through the Ghana Legal Aid Commission. We talk about issues of right to a fair trial. I ask a question: how can such a person have a fair trial? Because already, whether or not he's we don't really find out whether he's able to afford a lawyer. If he's not able to afford a lawyer, the state must provide one for him, because the state has heavy machinery behind it in terms of the investigative arm, in terms of prosecutorial powers and whatnot. And if we do not take care, we will have a problem where the people that we are supposed to be leading or to be taking care of or to be shaping in a certain direction will lose confidence in the system. And then we veer into a banana republic. Persons, people, individuals clamor for a society where they can have the basic education, can have food, shelter, pardon me, food, shelter, and whatnot. But most of these people, most of the youth or most of the young ones don't have. And pardon me again, I will go through another route. In terms of education, mostly our view is that education should really focus on things that are happening in the classroom. Now, so how do we move all of these people who we're trying to fix into a certain box and then get them through high school to the university? There are people who can do things with their hands. Our education must be expansive. We have to look at what exactly we are bringing out. Not everybody can be a doctor. Not everybody can be a lawyer. There are artisans. There are people who can do things with their hands, and then some people play soccer, some people they do sports. There are other things that people can do. But we are forcibly trying to create a certain society where if you do not go to school or you do not own a degree, or a master's degree, then you are, excuse my language, useless. But that's dangerous, because even in the developed countries, they allow these kids to kind of grow into who they want to become. Now, if you come to Ghana, it's either you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer. It's despicable for me, from where I sit. I think that we have to create a society where there's a balance, where people have belief in the system, where people can rightly say that, okay, so I'll give an example. Currently in Ghana, there's an ongoing issue in Kranza, where an individual was, a young gentleman was, they say he was picked up at 1 a.m. at his family home. Now, the parent, the mother who was with him at the time of the arrest followed suit at the police station, and then the gentleman's caution statement was taken. She was asked to go back home for whatever reason. I think that the police was, I think they were trying to get him to provide information as to the whereabouts of other people. They assume were a certain armed robbery syndicate. Now the mother comes back 2 hours later. And then
I'm sorry to interject you, Mr. Stephen, but we had a slight request to just give Mr. Babraka the platform, because he has an urgent meeting to attend, an urgent government meeting to attend in like 5 minutes. So I was thinking, maybe can we just squeeze him in, and then when he's done, we can bring you back in.
Very well, that's fine. By
all right, thank you. Can we have Mr. Babraka coming in, please, so that he can freely attend his meeting? Mr. Babraka?
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You can come in, sir, so that we can excuse you for your meeting.
Oh, great, thank you. Do you want me to take the floor?
Yes, please do so. The platform is all yours.
Oh, good, thank you. Thank you very much for giving me the floor. I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak to the representative of more than hundreds of young leaders, chairmen of the organizations, and also the civil society. So yes, we joined today by the citizens with the faith communities, and I'm especially pleased to see so many young leaders and entrepreneurs who embodies the energy of optimists of today's Africa. Thank you for being here. So today we must just recognize during that African Union Days that we made some great progress. We made some great progress because we must accept that Africa, we leave slavery, we leave colonizations. Today we are one of the most fastest growing country in the world. We must accept that. It's not China, it's not United States. And when you see all the reporting, it's Africa. It's Africa. So today, Africa is one of the fastest growing region in the world. So if you see Africa Middle Class project to grow to more than 1 billion consumers, with hundreds of millions of mobile phones searching access to internet, Africans are beginning to the leapfrog of all the technology to prosperity. And now Africa is beginning one of the biggest markets in the world. But we must acknowledge that all these big progress are built in fragile foundation. That's why we need brave and great leaders. That's why we don't need strongest men. We need strongest institution like the African Union, and we can build more for the young generation. Like something I proposed, the youth conventional, call it the Continental Youth Convention. That is a commission in the African Union when young people can get the floor, design some policies for young people as well as for the next generation. So we need to build a better community. We need to build a better Africa, but it will never happen by its own. It will happen when young people get the voice, get involved in, and transform the world that it should be. It's not the previous generation. They did what they have done. They don't have the sensitivity about the urgency of the next generation's issues, big issues like climate change. We see it in the reports every day. We're doing worse day by day. So it's our responsibility for us to build the future we want. We will not happen in speech. It will not happen in Zoom. It will happen only we dedicate in the field that policies matter for the fragile people. When we get in this field, we will make Africa better. We need more what we call environment for entrepreneurs to undertake, good environment for them to undertake. Even if we talk, if we don't make that progress in this policies way, it will never happen. So I'm encouraging young people to get into politics, to get into where we decide, because it's better for you to decide for your future than let it to someone who doesn't care. And it's fair when we represent largely most people, no matter who they look like, where they come from, or what their status is. And Africa now change. And I'm calling also the world to change its approach to Africa. You know, Africa, we don't just want to add, we want to trade that field progress. We don't want to patrons, we want partners who help us to build our own capacity to grow. We don't need the education come from others. We can build our own educations that solve the local problem of our community. We must stop to import everything. We must acknowledge our own identity and build and build like what we call the ease. When you are at ease on some things, this is really important for us. So I'm calling during that day that the young people, we must acknowledge that many of these gains rest on the fragile foundations. Alongside new wealth, we call every day hundreds of millions of Africa still under extreme poverty. We cannot wait. It's not time to wait anymore. We're in the decade of action. Let's together, entrepreneurs, people from the civil society, community organizers, get in the field that we will decide our own future and not let it to the previous generations. So today is the pitch that I want to give to these young people. You can make it, we can make it, hand by hand, block by block. We can build the African that we want, but we need to acknowledge that we need to love each other. Love is important. Guys, let's be compassionate. Let's love like who we are. Let's not see other and diminish ourselves because we look black, because we come from the hood, because we come from where it's hard. No matter if we work 2 times than others, the result will never lack. The result will never lack. Let's continue to keep growing and have a good foundations. Let's change the way we collaborate and partner with others. Let's respect ourselves because we ask other people to respect us. And respect also our fellow citizens is important because if we embody the responsibility to lead people, we need to lead with integrity, respect, and also treat others with dignity and respect. So I want to just thank you for the floor you give me. And yes, I do believe Africa will need generates million jobs in the future that is doing right now, but all depends of our action right now. We all matter. We all need to act. So let's do it. And I truly believe we will make it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was very empowering. That was very mind-blowing. Thank you very much. Can we have the people who are raising hands? I don't know who was first.
I think first we need to let Mr. Stephen continue because we interrupted him. He didn't finish yet.
Yeah.
We
Mr.
apologize.
Stephen, you can continue. I am so sorry about that.
No worries at all. So I was focusing on the criminal justice system, and I'm saying that essentially let us not have something that looks like it's working. Let us have something that really works. Let people believe in the justice system. Let people not feel intimidated. Let people be reassured that the case in point I was raising. Now this lady's son, fast forward, they say he lost his life. And now they can't find who, because the issue is that he was shot, when he was trying to assist the police, fish out alleged robbers. But then you understand that the path we are on is a very slippery slope. People just want the least reason to protest or have no confidence in the system. So let us not have a system that appears to be frail. Let us have a system that actually works. Let's move away from intimidation in terms of critiques. Constructive ones are very good. But what we find out is that people have been gagged. People are afraid to talk. People are afraid to speak truth to power because essentially they think that they are afraid of for their lives. They will be picked up. But that is not emboldening or that is not empowering any youth. That is not, because certainly we have to grow and we have to fill all of these voids that will be left behind, because these people, these ministers, presidents, what have you, the ambassadors, they will all phase out. What becomes of the next generation? Timid people. How do we deal with the Europeans who are very, very confident? How do we deal with the Americans who are very, very confident? How do we deal with the Chinese who are fast forward, they are expanding like never before and they're so confident and they're so affluent? What are we doing to ourselves? That's why I asked myself, in 50 years, or even not 50, in 20 years, where do we see Africans? Where do we see the youth? What will become of us? Will we become like some, toys where people can just come in and then play with us and then just leave? Because trust me, the continent has its tests now. I don't know for your respective countries, things are not looking good, but we just hope that things will get better. But still, things are not looking good. So we need to put in proper structures. You tell me, how come we are still importing at the rates that we are importing? How come we are not creating jobs? We have all the raw materials, we have all the natural resources, we have all the tomatoes, we have all the onions, we have all the coal, we have everything. But we let people come here and then take them away. And we are not doing anything. If we need something, we say the West is where the best is, and then we put together dollars and then we go and buy them. What are we doing to us? What are we doing to? I don't know whether you have kids, but when you look at your kid's face, when you look at your son's face, when you look at your daughter's face, what do you see? Do you see hope? Because if we are complaining now and we are doing nothing about it, I dare say during the time of our children, there will be nothing to write home about. So in terms of governance, we expect the leadership to take us by the hand and cross the road. You understand? They should help groom us. They should help shape us. We should make Africa a better place. I was speaking to a friend and I situated the story of Africa to say, your mother, if you consistently, and I'll mind my language, take things that belong to your mother for yourself, what you're doing essentially is that you are robbing yourself of your inheritance. You're not stealing from anybody, you are stealing from yourself.
From your own self, yes.
We have to come to a point where, that's why I decided not to do a presentation, because I realized it would be a very boring lecture and something close to a classroom talk. I want us to look at ourselves in the mirror and tell ourselves, what do we want for ourselves? If we go to the UK and we are happy with what we see, why can't we create the same thing in Africa? Why can't we create the same thing in our respective countries? Why do we always think that, the grass is greener there? The grass is greener there because maybe it is, but because they have things in place. They are making sure institutions work. When you fall foul of the law, you are dealt with in accordance with the law, not in accordance with emotions. We need to be true to ourselves. We need to empower ourselves. Why would you not empower your own, but go and pick somebody from America to empower? Because mind you, once they make the billions, they take it away. They have no business with you. It's business as usual.
Exactly.
If we have laws and they are not working or they become cosmetic, why do we keep them still in the books? Why do we do that? If the laws are there and they are not working as they ought to, we are supposed to ensure that they work. That is why we see the whole idea of democracy, the whole idea of people coming together for leadership is for proper policy direction. That is all. Now, if it becomes, the whole thing becomes a hoax, and then the majority of the people who are paying the taxes don't feel that they are part of the system when it comes to self-development or generational development, then trust me, the whole thing will fall apart. And what will we have? What we are having currently, the least thing people want to go on a protest because most people don't have jobs. Because we can still come under COVID and then Russia and Ukraine, but it's the easiest way. You understand. But we need to have confidence in the system. We need the African youth needs to have confidence that things may not be okay now, but we are on the path of success. But if we deprive ourselves of that, then I'm sorry. You cannot fail to prepare for an exam and then 2 hours to your exam, hope that you pass your exams. It doesn't work that way. You need to take steps to prepare from day one. Africa, we are not preparing. We are not ready because we wake up, we go to our various jobs, we come home, it's business as usual, the weekend ends, Monday starts, there's nothing happening. But we need to put things into perspective. What do we want for ourselves? Other nations have created it. There could be a 60-year plan, there could be a 40-year plan, there could be a 20-year plan. What we are seeing now, things are not working. And if the youth who are the next generational leaders are to take up the mantle, then we need to step up. We need to do what we have to do. If we have to write petitions, if we have to protest in accordance with the law, we need to do that. And we need to find a place in the leadership. You can't continue to complain about things not being right when you stand aloof. Because then obviously you get people who do not care about you to go there. And once they go there, trust me, when they were not there, they were not caring about you. And when they go there, they will not care about you. If we are interested in making sure that Africa sees, the success and the turnaround that we want, then we need to be part of the leadership. And when we get there, we do not have to follow the same path that has brought us to where we are. Most of our countries, 60 years on, 40 years on, we have nothing to show for. Where we are going is not good.
Stephen, I just want to add something with everything we're saying. Otherwise, I don't know if I'm going to have time because I'm going to be one of the last ones. The thing that I want to say, and I agree with everything you said, is that, I'm an adult. I'm not a young man. I'm not youth. I'm a grandfather too. And I have 2 lovely daughters, which I'm very close. Our youths are the reflection in a bigger scale of what we are as adults. If you want to see Africans, see what our youths are doing. So you understand what's wrong with us. What happened with us is leadership at home, leadership in our countries. And I'll tell you this by experience, because, I started an organization a few years ago and tried to work with Africans, and it was not easy. It was a very hard, tough, because they're all leaders. They all claim themselves they are leaders, but no one knows what is being a leader. Nobody knows what is being a father. Many parents I've been with, guys I've been with, they're not in touch with their kids, and I'm African. This is very common within us as men in our African society. We need to take leadership of that, ownership of that. We need to take ownership of our responsibilities as leaders of the community, leaders of our family, our women or our kids, and don't mix stuff. And if we start learning that, we will then start becoming very great entrepreneurs, very great businessmen. I am a social scientist, and I've been actually studying my people, my community, and I create an image-based model program, which is a training program specifically made for African men, African women in business, African men with their families, African men with their businesses, and also youths with their own life when the parents are not there. We need to understand that what you just said was really important. Look at ourselves and learn what we have been doing so far and analyze if it's that good, what is the results. So, because like see the reflection, you know, when you see the reflection, you start understanding, wait, it's something that is not right, we need to fix that. And how can we fix this? With tools. When we talk about tools, we talk about education, but what type of education we need? We can't just copy and paste what worked with Caucasian. We need to do our own legal system. As me, as a businessman, I struggle to get business back from UK to Angola or Cape Verde. Why? Because paperwork is too much. I end up spending a lot of money because they know I'm from UK, and I start realizing I need to give up because I'm spending all my money till I start my business. So all these things, we need to come together, because me speaking by myself, it won't work. I do not have power, and power is uniting us together, but working together too, working, you know, collective performance. How can we have collective performance if we don't have tools to continue to work together? For example, if I'm in a meeting, I don't agree with what my colleague is saying, so I'm not going to work with him. It means that I'm not actually fit to be in the meeting. Because when we discuss issues, when we have businesses, or we are in front of our family with our wives or whatever, we need to have the ability to say I'm sorry, or have empathy. We need to have all these tools to carry on a conversation, to come to positive conclusions, so we can carry on together. And if you look at single mothers, Africans have loads of single mothers everywhere. They are the economy of Africa, because it's the women who fight for that. They are the ones raising us. And this needs to change. We men, and I'm talking as a man, need to change. Look at the ability to, so I can, what I want to say is to add everything you said, and Stefan, and yeah, I agree with you. To add in everything you said, and also to say, to raise awareness of this important thing that we need to understand. Collective performance is the key. Learning to be together, work together is the key, because we can talk here, let's unite, but then once we finish, we go to our lives, because we need to do this, we need to pay bills, we need to do that, then we don't see changes. That when we start doing those things and start, when we talk about Africa United, where is Africa United? I want to see that, you know, and if I see it, I will believe, you know. Unfortunately, I can't believe to see it. I need to see it to believe, because we need to take our ownership of our mistakes, and we have been doing a lot of mistakes, and we are pointing fingers constantly because it's because of them, and we don't take responsibility. And I think that's where we need to discuss, because look, we have now kids that were raised here, born here in UK or in Portugal or in any other country in Europe. Once they do a crime, they go deported to Africa. So Africa now is receiving all the mistakes that our parents are doing in here. They are receiving all the rubbish stuff. They're not getting the good ones, the ones that have quality, they're good leaders. They are getting the rubbish stuff. So you have to, in Africa, they have to deal with that. So legislations need to change, and Africa need to have power to say, no, I don't want this. This is not supposed to be like that. Do you understand? And when I talk with these leaders and I say, listen, there's a lot of issues you're dealing with that is not right. And they will always justify it, but this is what they're doing there. This is the policy we're studying. And when you look at, you're a lawyer, and you look at the books lawyers are studying in Angola, for example, they all come from Portugal. It's Portuguese country, it's a white country, is not our legal procedures, And we need to change that. We need to have the power to say, no, we're going to do our own. We might look at how we've done it, learn things from you, but here is our own things. Because when you spoke about China, they have their own writing, they have their own history, they have their own things. They do it because they believe in themselves. We need to do it because we believe in ourselves. Once we do that, that's the changes we start seeing. And this is the very big issue, especially when I came to UK. I know a lot of people from Ghana, from Nigeria. This is a country where you interact with everyone from Africa. It's like, if you want to know Africa and Europe, you come to UK. And this is an issue from all of us. It's not just the Afro-Portuguese, you know, is many other countries have the same issues, and we need to take that. I do apologize if I cut you off, but I just want to add that. Yeah, Stefan. And thank you very much for what you just said, and I agree 100%.
Thank you so much. I just want the people who have raised their hands to speak now. July Blissing Mabunda, are you still here?
Yes, good. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
it's
Please keep our contribution concise and short. We still have many speakers.
okay. I just want to say that I am from South Africa and I am a youth person around 21 years of age. So what I want to say, I'm studying law and I've heard all of them speaking. All I want to say is that all African countries, they have good legal law written down. But the issue is that it has too many rules, as other speakers have said. So the issue with Africa, we have to reduce being too strict on our rules. If we see countries like China, how they fastly grow, it's simply because China supports its people. Those rules are there, those laws are there in Africa, but they're not working towards us as the youth people. They're just working towards a system which has been written down a long time ago, which is not to benefit us. For us, it has a lot of rules. They will tell us they need 5 years experience if you come out of university. Those laws are just there to, I don't know who they're benefiting at the moment. Yeah, and the only thing that are there, they're just laws, because if I am to give you an example, if I am to steal bread in South Africa, they won't take time to arrest me and give me a harsh sentence. Instead of our leaders who we see, they do it in daylight robbery. They steal from their own people, but they won't go to prison. They will remain in power. But me, a person who steals bread because I'm hungry, there are no jobs, laws are very tough out there, I will go to prison because certainly I'm poor. We just need to change our laws to benefit everyone in Africa. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now, Candy, yeah, you can speak.
Okay, good afternoon or good evening. My name is Candy from Zambia. Yes, so I've got a question because I've heard a lot of things about the legal system in Africa, and the way Mr. Stephen said that we don't have a legal system that we think works, but one that actually works. So what is it that has to be done? Because you find that some instances the law is written down properly, but it's not being implemented as it's supposed to be. So what is it that we can do as the youth of Africa to make it better for everyone? And then even with programs like this, what happens when we discuss these issues? Then what? What is the actual physical impact that we're putting into achieving our goals? Thank you.
Thank you. Who wants to answer the question? Okay, Mr. Stephen.
Yeah, I can attempt some of those questions. I'll make it brief. I mean, we are here to find solutions to the problems. And one way you can make the laws to be obeyed or possible is to make laws that reflect the values of the people and also strengthen the institutions that just a minute, my device is about going down. Just a minute.
I can't hear.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you all hear me? All right.
I can't hear.
So I was saying that.
No, I can't hear you, Mr. Prince. No. I can't. Mr. Stephen wanted to answer as well. Okay, yeah.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So I was saying that, I mean, we can start by making laws that reflect our realities. I mean, like most of the previous speakers noted, most of these laws that we practice in Africa were copied from the colonial masters. So we need to start making laws that reflect African values, our peculiarities and challenges. I mean, like the brother who spoke last noted, if someone who steals bread can go to jail, why a politician who steals billions of dollars or naira or whatever currency is given a pardon, then that doesn't serve as deterrent. And that is what you see in most African countries. In Nigeria too, we've had a situation where each president grants pardon to politicians who are convicted of heinous crimes. Meanwhile, the young guy who stole 100 naira or $1 is in jail. That is not a good way to discourage people from committing crimes. So, and like I noted earlier, the law enforcement agents needs to be educated on what these laws are. Constant education is important. Classroom education now. We need to take this advocacy to these agencies to say, look, this is what the law says. What you are doing is different from what the law says. And we need to lead from top, because if the president is not doing the right thing, expect the ministers or the governors in states to do the right thing. So we need strong leadership as much as we need stronger institutions. And then we also need collaboration. I mean, this kind of gathering is important so that we have a comparative analysis, see what is working in each country, see how we can drive those reforms in our own respective countries. For instance, if something is working in Nigeria, I want that thing to work in Ghana, in South Africa, in Egypt, in Angola. And the only way to propagate this is to have this kind of collaboration. Because the youth, they have enormous power through social media. We can drive a lot of change. So, there are ways we can make this thing work, but it starts from leadership, to be honest. If the leadership is lacking, every other thing falls apart. Thank you.
I also chime in to give a submission to that.
Well, thank you, Prince Nwafuru. Can we hand over to the police justice, please?
Mr. Benjamin Anya.
Yes, I didn't want to butcher his name. Please, can we hand over to him? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Distinguished
executives of the One African Forum, country directors, participants, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I'm audibly enough. May I proceed?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm of particular great pleasure to be called upon this afternoon to be part of this discussion about Africa's youth, about Africa's future, and about how to make things work in Africa. I have listened with keen interest the discussion as it rules, and then it has got into my intent, and I want to make a few comments. From the outset, I thought probably I was coming to do a PowerPoint presentation, but then from the look of things, it appears that I have to do my presentation offhand, and then if there are any questions, I will take them. I am a police officer of the Ghana Police Service of the rank of Chief Superintendent of Police, and I am also a legal officer of the Ghana Police Service. I've been invited here to talk on the topic that the police service should educate citizens on how to cooperate with the police when arrested or being charged for court. And that's why what I'm coming to do, I've structured the presentation in such a way that there is an introduction, there is the police service as a creature of the Constitution. There's an area where we touch on the functions of the Ghana Police Service. We have also got to touch with the presumption of innocence under the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. We'll also be talking about the cooperation with the police when arrested. Then we land on how to cooperate with the police, and then the effect of non-cooperation. We conclude with the vision and mission of the Ghana Police Service. Are we together?
Yes. We are together, yes.
Very well, very well.
Thank you.
Yeah, by way of intro, in every society, there must be rules specifying the manner of conduct that is frowned upon by members of that society and the procedures for dealing with people who break these rules. The criminal justice system in Ghana, or anywhere in the world, which any society evolves for managing breakers of these rules, depend to a large extent, my brothers and sisters, on this issue, economic, cultural, religious, and political ideology of that society. Therefore, criminal justice denotes a process adopted by the various arms of government and other stakeholders to control crime in a given state. There's little doubt that punishment of violators is an essential purpose of this criminal justice process applicable in Ghana. The punitive idea, though among the most ancient approaches to crime control, is still a force of major significance globally. The punishment aspect of crime control are designed to compel conformity by hurting the criminal. The application of punishment to criminals in proportion to their criminal offenses is the cornerstone of the criminal acts and then the sentencing structures of any state. At a minimum, criminal justice system is designed to be stern and unpleasant. At its extreme, my daughters and my sons, it is frankly punitive and indeed can incarcerate criminals for life or even take their lives. The Ghana Police Service as a creature of the 1992 Republican Constitution of Ghana. Generally, everyone desires a peaceful community. Everybody wants social order preserved, the bad guys locked up, violence curbed, and safety ensured everywhere. And this is why the Ghana Police Service was established and constitutionally mandated under the 1992 Constitution, Article 200, to ensure society achieve these marked cherished values. Crime generally is an evolving trend and gets sophisticated with time. The police therefore engage in proactive policing to prevent the commission of crime. In this regard, modern policing is a collaborative endeavor. Members of the general public are expected and encouraged to cooperate with the police in fighting crime. What are the functions of the Ghana Police Service? The functions of the Ghana Police Service are contained in an Act of Parliament christened the Ghana Police Service Act 350 of 1970. Section 1 of that act provides that the functions of the Ghana Police Service are to prevent crime, and prevention of crime is proactive policing, and that is the heart of the Ghana Police Service. Detection of crime, that's reactive police service. Reactive in the sense that we will detect the crime after the crime has been committed, and that is a reaction to the action of the criminal element. Apprehension of criminals is also reactive policing and the maintenance of order and safety of persons and their properties. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ghana Police Service has and will continue to institute legal measures aimed at controlling crime in our country. Mechanisms have been put in place to make it not only difficult but also unbeneficial for crimes to be committed. That's the yardstick for measuring the efficacy and the efficiency.
Yeah, proceed. Proceed.
Of the Ghana Police Service is the extent to which. Hello. May I proceed?
Yeah.
I heard somebody mentioning my name at the background. However, when the criminals at which these preventive measures and crimes are committed, the legal framework in our country, Ghana, empowers the police to arrest offenders even on reasonable suspicion. This launches our discussions into how to conduct oneself if arrested by the police for any offense at all. The presumption of innocence under the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. The Republic acts as a guardian of peace to maintain the rule of law and also to control uncontrolled vengeance on perpetrators of crime. The Republic takes on the role of an accuser and must prove beyond all reasonable doubt that the guilt of the accused person. Under Article 19, Clause 2, Paragraph C, it provides that a person charged with a criminal offense shall be presumed innocent until proven guilty. This is tabulated black and white in our Constitution. In our contribution, that means in the contribution of the police to the dispensation of criminal justice in Ghana, the police represent the state and the accused person becomes a party to the dispute. Thus, since the accused person must be safeguarded against the possible exercise of arbitrary powers of the state, he is provided with legal protection, hence the provision of the entire Article 19 of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. How do we cooperate with the police? The police are empowered to arrest without warrant any person who has committed an offense in their presence and whom they suspect on reasonable grounds of having committed an offense. In this case, police officer, whether in uniform or in mufti, who holds the true value of his office as such, can arrest based on suspicion. Thus, when a police officer effects the arrest of someone on suspicion of criminal conduct, that person is expected to cooperate with the police, provided the arrest is lawful. Then someone would ask, what then is a lawful arrest? Or what is an unlawful arrest? An unlawful arrest is one that is made not in conformity with the provisions of Section 3 of the Criminal and Other Offences Act, the Procedure Act 1960. That's Act 30 in Ghana. I'm saying this because this pertains to Ghana, and what that pertains to other countries, the provisions may not be the same. And so I am concentrating on the provisions that authorize public officers like the police to conduct police duties. Now, in making the arrest, the police officer or other person shall actually touch and confine the person to be arrested unless there is submission to the custody by word or action. So when the police officer suspects someone and is about to arrest him, it is the duty of the police officer under the law to actually touch the person and explain to the person the reason for which he or she is to be arrested. And when all these formalities are done, what ought you to do? What you ought to do is that you need to be submissive to the police, to surrender yourself to the arrest, so that you should be taken to the police station as a mere suspect and not a criminal accused for court. And so we should take note. However, there's it here. However, for instance, if the conduct of the person to be arrested is such that the police officer cannot, in under normal scheme of things, administer these legal words to the the arrestee before arresting, then the arrest cannot be categorized as an unlawful one. An example of this is where the suspect of crime on seeing the police takes to his or her heels. He will not even wait for the police to get nearer. In that instance, it is presumed that the person knew what he was doing was wrong and that he was committing an offense. And that is why the person took to his or her heels. And such arrest is a lawful one. An unlawful arrest, in making an arrest, the police officer shall actually touch by what I've already indicated. There may be instances, however, as I've also indicated, where it is impossible or difficult for the police officer to administer the words. All persons arrested by police are considered suspects of criminal offense. Since these arrests by the police are largely based on suspicion, members of the public are strongly advised and encouraged to cooperate with the police. So how do one cooperate with the police? One, when one is being arrested on suspicion of crime, that person is duty bound to surrender or submit to the police. If you struggle with the police, there is yet another criminal charge that will be awaiting you. If you attempt to escape from the police lawful arrest, there will be another charge awaiting you. If you struggle with, for instance, the court officer in the courtroom, or even make noise to disturb the court proceedings, there is a charge awaiting you. So our advice is that members of the public should be able to know by way of true, continual, and continuous education by the police to get everybody to understand that this is the kind of cooperation that we, the Ghana Police Service, and I believe in many other African countries, particularly those practicing the common law tradition, would bear with me that that is the procedure of policing in these countries. Now, under the law, the arresting officer must take you to the nearest police station. That is what pertains in Ghana. So when you are arrested and there's a police station just some few meters from where you are arrested, the law envisages that, in fact, directs that you should send the arrestee to that police station for him or her to be processed. If you bypass that nearest police station and you are taking him to a very distant police station, the person arrested have every right and every cause to complain, and you have to explain if there's any explanation as to why you are bypassing that nearest police station and you are taking him or her to a faraway police station. Secondly, under interrogation, up to being charged for court, the police must inform the arrested person his or her rights under the law. What are some of these rights that the person expects to be given to him by the police, at least to remind him? One, of the right to his legal counsel. If you ask for a statement from a person who is arrested and he or she demands that he wants to give that statement in the presence of his or her counsel, you have to hold on until the counsel comes. In fact, you even have, as an officer, ought to remind the person arrested about his right to a counsel of his own choice. So having reminded the person, if he is in the position or not to secure the services of a counsel, then we take it up from there. When there is no counsel, by virtue of the fact that the person is not able to secure the services of a lawyer by way of financial problems, then you may have to charge the person for court. And it's also legal for one to be prosecuted in a court of law without a counsel, but not advisable. Now, an arrested person has a right to demand that his counsel be present. I've indicated that when this right is denied, when the right for your counsel to be present is denied by the police, you have every right to make a case against the police, to complain to the authorities against that particular police officer for having trampled upon your rights. So these are some of the things that we need to take note of. I would also want to touch on searches. The The Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act in Ghana provides that a police officer who arrests a person should search the person of the person. Searching the person of the person indicates that you search the body, the packers, and every part of the body, and make sure that he is not hiding anything that he or she can use to commit another offense, making sure that you can retrieve stolen items from the person, and so on and so forth. But the law is clear that a female shall not be searched by a male, because privacy should not be thrown or jettisoned into the blue sea. So we take note of that and make sure that when it comes to the searching of the person of an arrested female, it is usually a police female officer who would conduct such a search. However, there are instances where it is highly impossible for the police who have arrested a female to get a female around to search the arrested female. An example of it is that, for instance, a highway patrol team comprising of only males happen to engage in a shootout with some armed gangs or robbers on the highway, and they have been able to overpower these robbers and have effected their arrest. And amongst those gangsters and robbers was a female armed robber, dressed in such a way that it is possible that she could conceal deadly weapons inside the hair or even under the private parts. In this case, common sense dictates to the police officer to use some kind of cursory search around the body of the female arrested person to make sure that nothing of that nature is concealed, so that when they get to the nearest police station, as I've indicated, then we can get a female police officer to conduct the proper search of the female in order not to infringe upon the rights of the arrested person. Now,
Mr. Anya?
Yes, my dear.
Mr. Benjamin Anya?
Yes, my dear.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but one of our speakers need to leave, so I'll just let him.
I have a question before he leaves, please.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
Mr. Benjamin, please. My question is, as a civilian, I've been wrongly accused by a police, taken to cells for 72 hours. But later on, they find out that I am not the accused, I'm not the person who committed the crime. At the end of the day, I've been released to go home. How can I sue, or how can I handle this case? Because I cannot just leave it like that. How do I handle this issue? Can I sue the police for arresting me wrongly? That's my question. Thank you.
Well, what I will have to say by way of response to your question over here is that everything that the police do are always under the rules and regulations guiding the police service. We have a kind of service instruction, which is the SOP, and we have various statutory enactments that guide our activities. When one is arrested, the police under the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana are authorized under the provisions of the Constitution to detain that arrested person for close to 48 hours without bringing the fellow court mark. Then there are questions that the police should answer. Why you are keeping such a bail and you have not brought him before a court of a clear violation of the constitutional provision, and you have every right to complain before the authorities. For instance, you can arrested, and then it turns out that after all the person did not actually, for instance, the person is acquitted in a court of law. Once the police officer was acting on his lawful duty, you may not be able to maybe apply for some kind of compensation from the police officer for doing what that is right and just under the law, just that you were found innocent. You may not be able to succeed. I hope I've answered your question. Is there any question again?
I think for now, it's okay, but I learned the moderator want to take over. So after that, I've written down some questions, so I'll come up with it. Thank you.
Very
Okay,
well.
we will take, thank you so much. We will take your questions, but now we will move to Emmanuel Adwomi. Oh, yeah, please.
Thank you, Zineb. Yeah, so
Thank you.
good evening, everyone. I'm Emmanuel Adeomi. I'm a youth, millennial, somewhere between millennial and Gen Z, founder of the Nigeria Development Hub, a delocalized and decentralized chamber for economic transform. I'm honored to be given the opportunity to speak at this event.
Please, if it is a question directed to me, may I state that it's not legible enough for me, it's not audible enough for me. I can't hear well.
I think there's a mix-up, Zineb.
I can hear you. What about the others? Donnie?
I can hear him loud and clear, darling.
Okay.
I can hear him as well.
Rita, I'd like to say something. I think that Benjamin is not done. Perhaps he's not done and expecting a question. So if it's a new, speaker, then I think we need to let him know, because he thought it was a question from, the current speaker.
This is actually Mr. Benjamin Anya. This is another speaker. But we will go back, we will come back to you later with Barbara. She has more questions to you. Okay?
Very well.
Apologies for that mistake.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry, pardon the noise in the background. So we are a economic transfer. Give me 2 seconds. All right, yeah, the benefits of doing these things live online. Okay, so we are a hub for socio-economic transform, fairly recent, fairly new, and I appreciate and I give my hats off to the earlier speaker, Mr. Prince Nwafuru. He's one of the people I have worked very closely with in the establishment of the hub. I think I'm gonna have my submission very brief, and in the format it in the answer to one of the questions that was asked earlier, because that was one of the reasons why we even founded the hub. Initially, we were thinking of doing an NGO, but then we kind of pivoted when we realized that sustainability, SDGs, ESG, all of those things in terms of how we can develop from a policy aspect would have more impact in the context of Africa and probably a nation like Nigeria, if in the format of a chamber of commerce. The specific reason that people trying to gain economic stability, financial stability, and the likes. And so bringing that opportunity was something that could have that influence. So in the context of one of the questions that was asked earlier, how do we effectively ensure, because I think about 3 people spoke about how the laws are written down, and I know because I've been in rooms where we had this conversation in spaces where we talk about how in the context of like, right, some things are in the what's called the concurrent list, things are in the exclusive list. So the exclusive list is what's controlled by the federal, and then the concurrent is controlled by the states. So a lot of these things are written down. And they're there, right? But they're not being upheld. So how do we fix these problems from a bottom-up approach? Which is what we, I mean, it's an uphill battle. It's a difficult thing, but it's what we as Africans are going to sort of have to do, because a lot of problems are kind of related to culture, related to not our culture, but the way in which our culture has evolved post-colonial. I think Mr. Prince spoke about the copy paste, the imposition of methods which not giving the time to properly grow and develop into naturally. And I think personally, and this is where in my submission, I think one of the answers is tech, because things like blockchain, things like the metaverse. I think Mr. Prince spoke about the metaverse, and he's also versed in blockchain. He actually pushed for the he wrote one of the bills that went into our reform that pushed towards it becoming electronic voting in Nigeria. So it's very strong in that area as well. And yeah, so that tech, and in the context of education, one of the things we're currently working on is an educational system. Also working with Mr. William, who spoke. Yeah, I think if we kind of push education into, if we highlight those areas, and ways in which we can synergize, because I think I remember Stephen talking about how until he sees the Africans, people from the different regions taking these decisions, he'll believe, but until he sees it, he's not going to believe. And one of the easiest ways to see it, because now we have the metaverse and things that are very visual. Obviously, there's still issues with technology. I was in a room for the Africa Day previously to this one, the previous segment where someone spoke about investing.
Sorry, Emmanuel, can I just interject a little bit? I just want to present this to all the speakers that we have remaining. Can we please just try to speak in point form instead of elaborating everything, because we are running out of time now. We are only 24 minutes. So we need to use in everyone. Thank you.
Cool. Not a problem. But yeah, technology, education, and leveraging on these things using workspaces, shared workspaces, virtual shared workspaces, I think is where we need to sort of bootstrap into as a peoples. And I think we'll be the better off for it. So I'll yield on it there. And yeah, that's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now Mrs. Barke Faraj Kamus. Yeah, I hope I pronounced it well.
Yes, you did. And thank you to everyone who is here right now. I just want to say congratulations for being here, because I believe in Africa. I believe in us, and I come a long way, okay? I was born in Kenya. I went to live in Tanzania, Zanzibar, and now I'm in UK, in London. And when I went back to 2018 in Africa, in Tanzania, because I started my own business as Barke Be Your Own Hero, and teaching youth, because I'm a youth advocate, and women and entrepreneurs, because I'm one of them. But end of the day, what I realize is that a lot of youth are out there looking for the opportunities, are open-minded, are ready to actually take those powers and understanding what can I do with it. We have to understand our youth are there. They are everywhere and they are on the streets. But the gates are closed. The gates of education are closed. The gates of being understanding and having jobs, the right jobs, are closed. People in power, I'm sorry to say this as an African and I'm a woman, but people stay in power because they can do it. But at the same time, this is the time we can actually say, let's give the power back to our young. Let's not just refuse the young because they have no experience. We have to be able to actually give that back. And for me as a woman, I keep saying that because I come from a country that women, you can't even travel by yourself, okay? I went back to Kenya. I love Kenya, come on, who doesn't love Kenya? And I was treated the way that, oh, where's your husband? Or where's your, someone to stand for you? And it's so sad because as a businesswoman, I feel that end of the day, we have to be able to stand up and say, I am ready. I am ready and open to come to Africa and to help the African youth, to support them and become the leaders they're supposed to be. Because I am here, I had to choose to actually say, yes, I'm a woman, and yes, I don't have everything, but I believe if I can be able to put myself in education because I want to support my people, and I am here willing and ready to support them. For you to be able, you are in Africa, you are ready, you can afford to actually say, Barke, yes, come. I will support your business to be here and you can give back to the community, 100%. We have to be able to, actually go and support each other. I went back and I was like, you know what? I'm going back home. Okay, I'm going to see my family and I'm going to support my community. And I did it and it was fantastic. So why can't all of us do the same thing? In our own countries, I'm talking about. I live in UK, but I went back to Africa and give back to Africa, and I'm still doing that. But the doors are still shutting for some other countries because I'm a woman. So I'm asking here today, open your doors to someone like me. Yes, I am here, I am teaching myself. It's not like I know everything, but I can teach by my experience. I've done and I went through and I've done lots of mistakes, but here I am today to say that we can all make a difference, and especially for women and for men, because they learn from us as adults. The youth are learning from us. So if we don't pave the road properly, the youth will come and will just ruin what we're trying to actually not showing them the hardship that we went through. So today, let's get up. Let's make a difference. Let's shake hands. Like I said, I am here. My name is Barke Faraj Kamos, or also known as Barke Be Your Own Hero. You can look me up. You can Google me. I am everywhere and publicly open to be here and to support you in any country you're in. I am ready. Are you? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Barkey. And I've seen that you overwritten your LinkedIn and email if you want to contact her. And I encourage all the speakers to share with us their emails and LinkedIn and social media accounts. Now, Mrs. Georgina, the floor is yours.
That's my beautiful queen sister just spoke back. Well said. I think I don't have much to say, because all the speakers have touched the topic that I want to discuss. My little contribution that I have to give back is just to say, the youth, they are ready. But the question is our leader, they are ready for change? If they are, like my sister said, let us in. It's all about creating a system that is fair for everyone to have access to. And we have, sometimes it is important for us to have an open and honest conversation. And I believe this is a platform that gives us the freedom to say the thing that sometimes we don't want to say it because they might have some sort of implication. But we live in the country that equal rights belongs to everybody. So you have the right to say it. If we don't say it here, so the change is never going to happen. And that I think, like I mentioned before, we have to look into our leadership system. The government, the policies have to be adaptable to everybody to have an access to education, to a better medical system available for our people, and creating a police system that are people that feel safe in our own country. And that I have to say, most of the citizens, they don't have trust in our police system because they know the police, they're not there to protect us. Unfortunately, it's all about, we have to go back and creating a policy that is adapted for everyone to be able to have a voice. And if we are looking at the young people to become the leader of tomorrow, so young people have to be part of the decision make. We have to involve them. We need to do outreach consultation. Let us find out what we are doing wrong and what can we do to make a change. I'm from Angola. I left my country 20 plus years ago, but when I went back a couple of years ago, nothing changed. It's still the same. And I'm asking that question, what happened? Why is it still the same? You know, the laws, they are there, the policies, they are there, but sometimes it's not clear or simple enough for us to understand. You know, I know we had a gentleman for the police in Ghana who was talking about the laws and policies, but sometimes we need to simplify. Not everybody have the time to understand how the law works. If we are simplified in the way that all of us will be able to understand and follow the rules, as well as to be able to open and make it available for everybody to say, actually, I'm okay. And that I have the right to say what I'm thinking without feeling threats, without thinking maybe my opinion is going to have an implication. Maybe someone's not going to be happy to what I'm saying. So we need to have an open mind. This is what I have to say. We need to be able to have an open mind, create more a platform that allows young people to become the voice. And that way you can be able to see freedom, you'll be able to see peace, and you'll be able to see progress in life. Thank you, everybody, for your wonderful contribution. But unfortunately, I have had a meeting. I'm going to leave in a few minutes, but I did share my contact, and I'm open to connect with anyone that is ready to connect with me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Now, Mrs. Cordelia Gafar. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You know, I appreciate this invitation to be part of this conference today. I am in the United States. I'm not originally from the continent at all. However, I have done some work with youth in South Africa with an organization there that supports specifically young mothers. And I have also worked with some women in Nigeria. So what I'd love to contribute to this conversation is, first and foremost, I celebrate the self-awareness of where each country has gotten to on the continent in the years, 60 plus years that each has become independent nations. And to the point of some of the previous speakers, it is now the time that that we have the awareness to dismantle the systems, the legal system that was left in place by the colonizers, and create our own legal systems so that we can actually support who we are today, how we are today. We've had 3 generations to understand what works for us. And so now is the time, with this new awareness, to change the educational system. I agree with Mr. Gomez, education and leadership begins in the home. Having worked with the young women in South Africa, I see that, how they are not given the same opportunities as men, and how society does not support them with education or with opportunities. And there is so much wealth in the enterprise of women. And so one of the things that I do is to mentor young women to create their own businesses, because they don't have the educational opportunities. I also agree with Mr. Adewami as far as what would that educational system look like. It would be a combination of course, technology, because one of my heartbreaks in working with people on the continent is the lack of infrastructure to support, even a conference like this. Many of the countries don't have great internet service or access. And for the women that I worked with in South Africa, like that shut down their possibilities to create income for the past 2 years. So the education would include technology, as well as restructuring who we are inside. And I know we in general as Africans seem to lean on math, science, engineering, things like that, missing what really creates who we are in our core, which I believe, again, Mr. Gomez and Barke touched on, which is creating that self-esteem, self-confidence, self-belief, and nurturing in who we are. We have to recognize that there is generational trauma there, right? Coming from being colonized, it's like we're holding on to this, and I see this in the United States, right? We're holding on to this, what happened before, and not allowing the healing to happen. So the emotional healing has to start happening, and that has to be most of the education. Deal with the emotional trauma, deal with processing that. And once you can get past that, then fathers will stay in the homes and show up as true fathers and leaders. The mothers don't have to show up as mothers and fathers. They can just be the mother, and they'll be able to pass on to the next generation what self-compassion looks like, because she'll have the time and space and energy to do that, right? And I have to say this, forgiveness has to happen. What's past, it happened. It's done already. Even if it happened 5 minutes ago, an hour ago, it's done already. And we have to get to a space where we can forgive and learn from the experiences, from the events, and see the events that are happening in the present without judgment. It is. And that doesn't have to mean anything. It just is. And that's how we build the self-trust. So a lot of the work that I do, I am an author of 8 books. I'm the host of 2 podcasts. One is called The Free to Be Show, and one's called Unlearning Labels. So on the Free to Be Show, that's exactly what I do. Question, in your mind, are you free? If you're not free in your mind, then how can you free the legal system? How can you dismantle a broken educational system? How can you even entertain the idea of creating possibilities for the next generation? Free yourself in your mind so that you can be the reflection of freedom for the next generation. And I'm a mother of 6 children. So I'm not just speaking off the cuff. I actually homeschooled my 6 children for 17 years. And so I know what it is to educate a child. By understanding their personalities and their learning styles, created individual curriculum for each of my children. And that is available to all school systems. Just imagine me as one mother. If I can do that for my 6 kids, certainly an educational system can make something like that available. There is obviously readily available documentation that there's several different types of learning styles. There's several different ways that people are able to access knowledge. And all we have to do is just implement those strategies. And that requires unlearning labels, which is the topic of my other podcast, where do we have to categorize everything to the point that it's diminished? I think it's the labels that are holding us back. What if we were humans working together for the purpose and the elevation of humanity and for the elevation of our souls? Imagine what we could create on a continent like Africa with all the resources in the whole wide world. Just imagine, free your mind and work together and be one united front. And that is what I want to celebrate the beginning of today and what every speaker has brought forth. I will put my information in the chat. Please connect with me. I'm very active on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And I always like to get emails. Those are always quite entertaining when people send me their life stories and, how we're going to change the world. And just know, if you send me an email, I am a follow-up champion. So if you're proposing something, it's happening. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Cordelia. That was very beautiful. Keep up the good work. Please don't stop. We need more women like you. We need more women like every woman who was here today. We need more women. We need we need more liberation for women. We need safety and security for women. We need support as women. We need to be recognized as leaders, not for us to be only recognized when only there's a male figure besides us. Our leaders need to understand that before we are wives, before we are daughters, we are human before anything else. Thank you very much. That was interesting. That was beautiful. We sure going to connect you with on LinkedIn. And then, do we have any questions with regards to the police laws and procedures for Mr. Benjamin? Do we have any questions? Because I'm seeing hands and we're running out of time. Whose hand is up first?
I think Barbara has a question to Mr. Benjamin. Anya?
Yes, Barbara, please come up with those questions because I have a suggestion for our police superintendent. Yes. Barbara. Do we still have Barbara?
I think she's not here.
I think, if I may, I think Barbara asked a question to Stephen about,
Stephen.
Yes, about the fact that if somebody is arrested unlawfully, if they have some respite, if they can have some compensation, that is from the police, if you recall. I don't know whether any of you recall. So if they have any cause of action against the police or the individual who arrested them. There was a question like that. So the simple answer, and I'm speaking purely on Ghanaian law, the simple answer is yes. You can have compensation from the person who caused you unlawful arrest, and that will be in the civil court. Alternatively, you can sue, in the Supreme Court for compensation if, following your arrest, you are actually imprisoned, and then subsequently you appealed, and then, or for whatever reason you are acquitted. Then you can have compensation once you make an application to the Supreme Court of the land. So the answer is that you can have compensation if A causes B to be unlawfully arrested, and then it turns out that there was no cause of action, that B did not commit the crime, or B has not done anything to merit his arrest, he can sue A for compensation. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to do a follow-up question based on that. And how long does usually the procedure of me suing the state or the police take?
So it begs it's a very good question you've asked, considering all the things that we have discussed. Whatever we do, because of the way the rules are structured, it takes long. It takes too long. Civil actions in Ghana may take between, if you're lucky, the least you could have is 8 months, if you're lucky, because there are procedures. You have to file a written statement of claim. They have to file a defense. You have to file a reply. There has to be sort of a case management conference. It takes a while before you actually go for trial. But once you have a cause of action, and like I always tell people, if you want to litigate, then you must have patience, and it's quite expensive in a sort. But in Ghana, there's an intervention, which I normally advise people who are even on the other side. Say I'm representing the plaintiff and you are the defendant, and we have sued you and you don't have a lawyer. I would advise you to go to the Legal Aid Commission. There are lawyers there who are paid by the state, so that you can secure for yourself a lawyer. I'm currently in a case like that with another, with a defendant, and then the person has been able to secure a lawyer. So to answer your question, the time is not defined, but it takes a while, but surely you would get justice in the sense of the compensation. If you're not satisfied with the amount of compensation, you can appeal, depending on what you have been through. And the second leg, like I was explaining, if say you were sentenced to a 20-year jail term, and then you served your jail term, and then it later came out that you never committed whatever crime that they're saying you committed, then you have a course of action. You have to sue at the Supreme Court for compensation, and it's clearly in the apex law, the Constitution of Ghana. You have compensation, and these are the things that people have to be informed about. People, there are a lot of, they say ignorance is bliss, but it's very disastrous, because if you can enjoy something and then you do not know about it, then obviously you are in the dark. So to answer
okay, all right. Can we pause on that? We have one more speaker. So can we please introduce Sia Twani so that we can continue, and then we'll come back, because I believe we still have a little bit more questions with regards to that. Thank you very much, Stephen. Can we have Sia Twani, please?
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, wherever you are. Can you all see me? Do I need to smile?
Yeah, we can see you.
Right,
yes,
okay.
We can see you.
My name is Sia Bulel. I'm originally from Cape Town, but I reside in the United Kingdom. I am a passionate, inspirational speaker and a life transformer for young people. I am one of the young lions that marched during 1976 against apartheid, and then I was arrested, and I was arrested again in 1981, and I was sentenced into prison for 4 years during the apartheid law, during the apartheid rule. I was opposing the unjust laws of apartheid that made all other people, Asian, Black, Chinese, and Indian people less than. So many years ago, I came across a saying which says, "Give us the youth and we will set the world on fire." I think it was Karl Marx who said that, "Give us the youth and we will set the world on fire." Many years ago, I went back home on a visit back to Cape Town, and I was looking at buying property in Cape Town, and I went to an estate agent, and a white estate agent man, an Afrikaans guy, said, "You Black African people are like crabs. You know crabs, when you put crabs in a bucket, all they ever do, they are jealous of the one who's trying to survive, and they bring each other down. The one that's on top, it gets drawn down by the others." I was so angry with that white man. But I tell you what, I reflected on what he said, and I thought to myself, actually, truth comes from everyone. We have a reputation in Africa of seeing each other as threats or as competitors, instead of seeing each other as people who want to build one another up, people who actually not are in the business of dragging other people down, but people are in the business of pushing other people up and up. And this conference, this moment, this meeting is a true reflection that we as Africans, we love each other. We as Africans, we learn from each other. We as Africans have got a hunger to grow together. We as Africans, actually, there's something that goes like, can anything come from Bethlehem? Can anything come from Africa? Yes, every good thing comes from Africa. Every good thing comes from Africa. You look at me, I'm a fine specimen. I'm the son of the African soil. Yeah, I am. Can anything come? You look around in this forum, there's different colors and shades and smiles and can anything come from Africa? Oh, yes, it can. Believe me, oh, yes, it can. Every good thing comes from Africa. Give us the youth and we will set the world on fire. Somebody once said, it was actually the great giant, Mr. Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon with which we can change the world. Actually, economic justice is the greatest weapon with which we can change Africa. I think, and I know that most people don't like Julius Malema. I'm not here to talk about Julius Malema, but the drive to fight for economic justice, because as a member of the ANC who spent 4 years in Robben Island, we used to say, South Africa belongs to everyone. There shall be equal opportunities. There shall be equal access to education, and all the mines will be shared, and all the resources of the country will be shared amongst the people. And that hasn't happened. That hasn't happened. And so when we talk about young people who are unemployable, who smoke Turk, who do robbery, who would kill somebody for a mobile or for a phone or for a ring, we need to go back to the Freedom Charter. We need to go back to our constitution that I was privileged to be part of this first youth parliament. We were invited by the then ex-deputy president, Thabo Mbeki, to implement, to come up with what we want to see in the parliament for young people. We wanted to have a voice. We wanted to be visible. We wanted to be heard. We wanted to be part of the political new dispensation. And so, as a young person who is marginalized, disenfranchised in my own country, I see that in the UK now, where I work in prisons, in school, in education. I work with social services. I'm a consultant. I'm a motivational speaker. I go into prisons. I'm a counselor. I'm a psychotherapist. Somebody was talking about the emotional pain, and we need to have some space before we can do economic justice. You're right, to do self-heal, self-reflection, and that's true. To do forgiveness. By the way, I like that. Forgiveness is not a license. It does not mean that we pretend that the hurt or the injustice or the pain was not inflicted. For example, if a woman, unfortunately, I'm going to use this, or a man, if a person is being raped, we can't pretend that the rape did not take place. It did, yeah? But in forgiveness, we do not use the act that was done towards us as a weapon to drive a wedge between the person, the perpetrator. In forgiveness, we release ourselves. I was tortured by the South African regime for 4 years and I was put in prison. And I tell people when I do my motivational speaking, I'm not a victim of apartheid. I'm a victor. I am more than a conqueror. So we have to have that mindset, yeah? And stop being victims and stop feeling sorry for ourselves and stop blaming colonization and apartheid. Yes, it happened. Yes, we need to liberate ourselves from the past, but we need to have the mindset that says, I am not a victim, because victimhood is a choice. Victimhood is a choice. I go into different settings. I talk about, sorry? Somebody talking to me?
Just proceed, please. I think they just
okay.
Yeah.
So racial trauma we need to heal from. Yeah, self-compassion is important. Forgiveness is important, but all those are important only when we have healed from internally, but also having the courage, yeah, to be different, yeah, and to make a difference. I'm going to finish off in 2 seconds. I started an organization called African Connections in the early 2000s. We went to the Transkei, we built schools, we raised money from the United Kingdom because education is important to me, to build schools and clinics and to build a bakery. and the people whom we trusted to run the project for us, they squandered the money. We were trying to create jobs. We're trying to empower the young people in the villages so that they can have a sense of purpose and meaning. So I'm going to ask you, there are three types of people. There are people who says, what happened? That's the duh people, duh, what happened? And there's the other type of people, those people who watch things. They just sit on the peripheral of life. They don't want to engage. They go like, what happened? Duh, what happened? And there's people like yourselves and myself and everybody else here who's passionate about making an impact and changing the lives of young people. And the third type of people is those who make things happen. People like yourselves. And I feel privileged to be part of this inspirational, motivational community. I'm going to put my details on the chat. And it's been a privilege to be part of this community that says Africa is alive. They can say whatever we say, as Bob Marley says, together is one. I think actually it's actually lucky to me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasing pleasure to be with you. I bless you. Bye.
Why, thank you, Mr. Twani. That was beautiful. That was encourageous. That was what we need to hear as Africans. Thank you very much. Can we have, who's our next speaker again? I forgot. I'm so sorry.
Can you just let Fidel?
Okay, yeah.
I think you have a question or a comment.
Okay.
Please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I'm Fidel Tuishimi from Rwanda. I'm working in the local government where I'm interacting with many young people. Coming back to today's topic, strengthening the African legal structure for law, order, justice, and peace. I have a question with these young people. Young African trust more colonial master system more than African system. Taking an example of education, people, they believe that studying abroad, studying in Europe is more important than studying in our own countries. That's why you see more African young people, they would like to enjoy European culture more than enjoying African culture. So my question, how will we have to change this mentality among youth people? Thank you.
Does anyone want to answer that? Do we have anyone who's willing to?
I would love to.
Thank you.
Yeah,
please come ahead.
Hello, everybody. I just want to answer that because growing up as a youth at that time and myself is that we all see and we all hear from our parents and everyone else that, hey, you know, America has everything, has all the answers. If you go to Western country, they know more than us. They are the powerful. They are the advanced. They are the one who can get you there. And you can be whoever you want to be. So at the end of the day, and also the parents, because parents take the children, go to America, go to United Kingdom. So there you can get the education and you can open up your own business or whatever, but not in Africa. We don't see the power that we have in Africa because our own people don't see the value in Africa. So we have to go back. This is psychological. This is either with money and everything else. We have to go back to the root cause of our problems. adults, we are the problems, not the children. We are the one who created this path. We are the one who created the chaos and all this that we're in right now. And we are the only one who can take us out of this, because our children needs us. Our children, they have a voice, but they cannot speak out loud, because we tell them, you are not good enough. You cannot be the way we want you to be, because we want you to go to America and be a musician and do whatever you need to do, because that's what we see is power. It's not power. In America themselves, they are things that we don't like as a human being. People like us who are in these countries, we look at the situation we're in, and we're like, no, come on, wake up, Africa. Come on, this is the time to actually stop looking what other people have. Look at what you have, what the power you have for yourself. Africa has so much power, but we don't see that. Africa, you have money, you have the power within you. Wake up, create your own banks, okay? Your education has that power. We can teach our own children. Stop looking for sponsors to go to America, my darling. Look at the sponsors to actually invite people to Africa, because we have that. We can grow our own fruits and veg, and we sell it to people in Western countries. But what are we actually give for our own countries? What are we actually feed our own people? Come on, Africa. You don't need the Westerns. I'm sorry to say this, but you do not need the Western country. You can make it happen, but only if we take our money and stop investing in the Western countries. This is the honest truth. A lot of African people, when they're sick, let's go to America, let's go to UK and give our money away. Stop doing that. Let's bring our own doctors, people like myself who actually studying, but then we are here, we want to go back. I want to help African. I want to be able to actually do something for my country, but you have to open those doors. I cannot do it. I've tried it. Okay, the doors are shut.
I think part of the issue is my sister finished.
I think she has a problem.
And can I just step up just for a second?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
All it is I think Steve Biko, who was a Black consciousness leader in South Africa, said, you don't have to be white to be right. I think we've internalized self-oppression, self-denigration. My own mother, I'm married to a white woman, English. My own mother, when we went back to South Africa many years ago, she says, oh, my son, you are like a god. You know, white people, they're like our God. I says, Mom, that's absolutely nonsense. White people are not our God. God is our God. White people, again, it's this veneration of all good things come from the West. We look down on ourselves, and our children then begin to shun their mother tongue. Is it Xhosa? Is it Zulu? Is it Tswana? Is it Rolong? Swahili? Whatever, or Arabic. They go, oh, man, I don't speak like that. I'm English. Yeah. And then they become coconuts. Yeah. Black on the outside and white on the inside.
Yeah,
I love that, Mr. Twani. I want to just also, echo what you're saying and what Barke is saying. In fact, my 3 oldest children, I'm encouraging them to do a mini tour of Africa, because before they go to university as an education, so they can see, go back and see what is it like to live in Africa and understand, really the actual culture that we come from. I've traced back that my family is from the Benin area of Nigeria. And so I'm going to send them to, but I happen to have people and friends in Senegal and Ghana and Nigeria. So I'm sending them to those 3 countries, 2 weeks each, just so they have a different worldview, because I don't want my kids being American and thinking like we're great Americans, we're humans, and we must see where humanity began. And so I'm doing my small part to change the thought process, you know, as a descendant of Africans.
Why, okay, thank you, Madam Cordelia. Can we have Mr. Benjamin coming through? Do you want to say anything, Mr. Benjamin?
Hello. I also think that one other way of us trying to resolve this problem is having to get our leaders back home, political leaders, and traditionally every leader in the country or in Africa, should have to sit up and then you do the right thing. The economies of all the countries in Africa are having problems. And I think these are some of the reasons why the young people of Africa are struggling to get out there into the world to try to get a life for themselves. You get to the coast of Libya and then the northern, the Maghreb countries, and then you see teeming African youth struggling to get into the unknown and to cross into Western Europe. And I think this has to do with how our policymakers, how our leaders handle our political affairs, our economic affairs back home, which is not palatable to young men in Africa. So I think that part of the problem lies with the policymakers. Then also to the youth ourselves, we have to educate ourselves, we have to talk to each other, we have to make sure that even if the leaders are wrong, in whatever they do and making the economies to have problems and making it unpalatable in their eyes, they have to sit back. They do not have to leave the shores of Africa and travel to other countries of the world to go and seek greener pasture where indeed the greener pastures are not necessary. Them language in jail over there. So my little advice is that for the leaders, we have to sit up to make sure that all the policies and everything that we have in Africa do work well. And in fact, Africa is a very gigantic continent full of all natural resources, where all the so-called developed world have come to siphon and to loot and to send back and to better their position, whilst we who are owners of all these raw materials are still having problems with our economies and our youth are leaving the shores. So that's my kind of little advice to the policymakers, to our leaders, and to the youth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Benjamin Anya. Mimio, I think you want to say something. Unmute yourself, please. Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Typing. Oh, there we go. Hello, everybody. I'm so grateful to be part of this initiative, and I would like to actually thank Mr. Arahon for the opportunity. I'm the South African coordinator. Just to build on what Fidel was saying, in order for us to actually take this youth of ours, they think that America is the it thing. Even I'm going to talk about South Africa because that's where I am. That's what I know best. In South Africa, even our education system is not doing any justice in that, because even today they are still teaching. I'm talking about the kids that are 13, 14 years old. They are still being taught about what Hitler did in some 100 years ago. Yet we have people that have made a significant history, like a significant impact on the South African history, but they are not being taught about that. They are taught about things that happened even before our great parents were born. But now, how do we change the fact that they are still being taught in school that America is the it place to go to? I'm talking about South Africa. So it's going to be hard. We're going to try and change that, but it's going to be very hard. We need to change the system. The biggest problem here we're facing in South Africa is the fact that we are being led by business people, not leaders. Everything to them is about making money. whether it benefits the community or the people of South Africa, doesn't matter to them. They are just making money, and that's it for them. Because you find that their own children are actually going to school in America. So what does that tell a 15-year-old? They still want to be an African. So we are faced with a huge problem. Sorry? Sorry? Is it talking to me? Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, you
No,
can
coming
proceed.
to coming to a comment that Mr. Twani said about being a coconut. It's funny because I was called that growing up. I come from a very rural area. Like it's one of the most rural places that you can actually find in Africa. But growing up, I'll say I was different. But because I was different, then I was a coconut because I wasn't listening to. We have the Zulu, I'm Zulu, that's my language. So we have the Zulu music, which is called Maskandi. So because I wasn't listening to that while my peers were listening to it, I was called the coconut. So I actually find it very funny that it was actually used in other places, because I didn't know it was a common name that was used everywhere. I thought it was just my hood that was using it. But it's funny because as an African child, when you are different than what the laws or the culture of your tribe is, and you are different, it's just not that you choose to be different, it's just how you are different to them. Now just because you are different, they will do anything and everything to bring you down, to make you feel like what you are is not actually the it thing. You are 20 years old, you don't have a fiance, and you're not about to get married anytime soon, so you don't fit to the community. You are the black sheep of the family because your views about your life are different. That's the most problem that you are facing I think in African as a whole. In Africa as a whole, that's the problem that we are facing. That if you're a woman and you choose not to actually react or behave like the woman in your hood, then that's a problem. Because the aunties and the gogos in the street are gonna say, look at that one. So now you are that one. They give you a new name. That's the problem that we are facing as African women and as African youth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you so much. There's Mr. Johnson. I think he wants to say something as well.
Thank you. Actually, I've been listening to all the speakers. What I have to say is about people trying to say like youth, they want always like running after America. But I think it's not true. Ours are trying to show us, because most of the time you feel like if the children are going outside to study, what do you think like the children of the poor people will think about going outside abroad? Definitely they will say, okay, this our leaders, their children they're going out, and tomorrow they will become leaders because they're getting good access to education, whereby like they forget that also where they are, they can get a reliable education, that if they only focus on what is available to them. Because if you look at it in a different way, those who are going abroad, they're not going to learn about their own problem. They're going to be taught about Western problem issue which concerning the Europeans, not issue concerning with Africans. And you become later a graduate, but you don't know actually on how to solve your problem. You only know because you spend your entire life learning about history, about European colonization, this stuff, but they're not relevant to you, because here you have people in Africa that they don't have access to electricity, they don't have food, and all you see is like workshop that we try to prove poverty, but at the end of the day, there's nothing going on. The corruption is just keeping going on. But actually, in Africa, we do have the education. The only problem that our parents, as one of the speakers said, that they don't show us the right direction. Our education system should not start like from the school, but it has to start from the houses where we are. But because we understand like most of the parents, they don't have the time to work with their children. They're trying to go look for something that will give their children food, or because they don't have like the basic income. They spend their life working in the local markets, and with the hope that like they have to work hard so that their children have to get good education. Unfortunately, that the system that gives a standard that the wants to create a very prosperity, work from our house and then extend the community to community to the national level. We can't be cities and then we say, okay, we're going to cross the continent.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. I believe we have come to the end of our program. But I would like to thank all our speakers, all our participants, all our listeners.
Yeah, excuse me, Donny. We still have many people who want to maybe say something. We just give them like 5 minutes.
Okay,
we are enjoying this. We are enjoying this. We can't leave. Okay. There is someone under the name of iPhone. If you want to speak, yeah, please unmute yourself. Okay, he left. Mr. Prince.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I greet you people, all good leaders. I want to take this special opportunity to first of all appreciate the organizers. I want to say that I have been following up the presentations, and I say that I see that this is a very great initiative, because we in Africa, we are really lucky, really, really lucky. But the first remark that I want to make is that the first thing we are talking about Africa, and I think I've listened to the speakers, and I think I'm the one of the first person from Central Africa that's trying to come in. So please let me just like say that, given my own our own point of view, what we face in our own community. I am from Cameroon precisely. For talking about youth in Cameroon, we face so many challenges. But for Africa to go ahead, we need first of all to practice collective performance. That is, we need to do what we call massive decolonization of the mindset of young Africans, which means that we are still very, very much see ourselves as if we are not from the same origin. That is, we are not from the same origin like Africans. So I think that with a platform like this, we have been talking too much. We have heard beautiful ideas, beautiful contributions, and like a country like my country, Cameroon, we are full of talks. People make good plans, people make good laws, but in the face of implementation or in the practical phase, we don't implement them. So what I would love to say is that as this initiative, this platform has started, I can say that we can also develop another new platforms to see how we can that is put in place a platform to see how young Africans that are ready to bring the change that Africa needs, they can network within themselves. Network, that is, we can even say that Africans platform with different professions. Young Africans, from different parts of Africa, different countries, they should be networking within themselves, discussing, sharing unique ideas that can bring Africa up. Because we have brilliant ideas. There are ideas that I've heard from other parts of Africa, other countries from Africa, where in Cameroon they are not implemented. But I think that the legal minds that the legal minds that I think that if we
I'm sorry. We can't hear you, and we don't have much time left. We are actually 30 minutes. I will give like Mr. Are you done? Sorry, we can't hear you. Okay. Sorry, we can't hear you.
Okay, since we can't hear the other speaker, I would like to share a little bit of a poetry passage
Sorry, can I
with
make
everyone
a
here.
concluding speech? Sorry.
So,
yeah, Mr. William.
This is how it goes.
Okay.
Can I continue?
Okay, proceed, and we will let Mr. William speak. Okay.
Yes, please. The title of the poem goes like this: What is freedom? Freedom is a word used, abused, and misused in this world we live. There's unchangeable aspect, and that comes with a price. That side of freedom is worrying us. Many of us are overlooking it. We're finding ourselves at the deep end of the swimming pool drowning. Africa labeled as a dark continent. Most would assume it was labeled because of the race or the skin color, which with research, you will get to that it was more than that. Oh, dark continent, a land that had so many resources that the indigenous people that occupied it didn't know the value of what they had. We were considered as uncivilized and backwards. Africa is the largest continent and possesses all minerals that are on the London Stock Exchange. The only continent that can hold the entire world's population and still have enough space to do farming. Getting independence was a dream come true and the beginning of a nightmare. People kill each other over division of power, wealth, and land. The worst part of that, we still borrow money from our colonial masters, and we have to live by their ways of globalization. The language, food, and clothing. Where am I? The language, food, and clothing. The list is endless and it goes on and on. It is all imported from outside. As sad as the story may sound, it is a reality of the world we live in. An individual gets independence from their parents or guardians while staying under their roof. Everything is paid from all aspects of life. The day you get your freedom or independence is the day that life shows the price that comes with it. Paying bills becomes a duty. Buying food becomes a necessity. Let's not forget, you have to plan for your survival in this harsh world. One man once said, don't hide behind the reason, but be the reason why the reason hides. Be the reason why the reason hides behind you. Most of the time, we always excuse to justify our mistakes instead of looking at the main problem that causes your failure, and that is you yourself. The only way to understand freedom is understanding what freedom really means. We can only conquer if we stand together as one. Divided, we fall, and united, we stand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Donnie. Thank you. So I see 3 people want to say something. I will give you like 30 seconds or 1 minute. Please keep it short. Okay, Mr. William.
Yes, thank you for this chance. I just wanted to briefly say the young lady was very accurate about what she was saying about the educational system. It is not easy here in the United States, and the media paints a incorrect picture of how people of color are treated. And particularly as a teacher of 33 years, sometimes our young people of color and culture are not treated respectfully, and their true history is not shared. So it's really important that families, as she was saying, teach their history first so that the youth understand what their history is and how valuable their history is, and the importance of their history and their language as well. Because if they don't learn it from their families, they will not get it here in the United States. And we have a good educational system, but it's not perfect. It's not the best. It does provide an equal education in many ways, but I always encourage young people to continue to learn on their own, and whatever cultural background they have, to learn as much as they can, particularly the language and the history from their family and the past, to get a true perspective of their history. Don't rely just on the American or European educational system. And I just wanted to share that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Prince, Nawafuru, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you all
Short,
hear me
please.
now? Yeah, very short. I just want to thank the organizers. This has been very useful, but I just want to suggest that in future events, because each program like this
I can't hear you.
it's always important to go away with said. Hello, sorry. So yeah, like I was saying, I think we need to, because as we critique the leaders, even within ourselves, we also need some of this self-criticism, and that is the way we organize programs, events like this. Because when I was invited to speak, I had thought that the focus would be on the role of law in shaping the development of Africa. But I came and I got a lot of values, no doubts, but let's always have that focus in mind. What is the message you want to pass? What is the message you want each participant to go away with? And I hear a lot of what we call inspirational speeches here, which is good. But I think we needed to focus on the message of the event, which for me, I didn't go away with a whole lot of knowledge and information from other countries about things we needed to do to improve the legal system, to shape African development. So it's just a suggestion for organizers so that in future, when we have events like this, let's, in terms of people we invite to speak, in terms of people who are like taking the center stage, let's be focused on the message we want to pass. Because there are a lot of problems in Africa, but we have to take it one at a time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your suggestion. Thank you so much, Mr. Prince. Mr. Emmanuel, can you speak? Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm just gonna try to be quite brief. I really loved the poem that was given previously. And whilst listening to the conversation, I took a thing or two. And what came to my head, my heart, and spirit to share was a poem written by my brother quite a while back in an anthology that we wrote as a family, because we do poetry. And it's titled Africa with 3 exclamations. Broken will, broken bones, broken heart, broken soul, broken chains, but no one knows. She's still a slave to their own broken hold. They've taken her, they've changed her, she can't be recognized. They've taken her, estranged her, they call it civilized. But she who's been around for years, who birthed the world itself, weeps gold and stones, and in her tears gives birth to all our wealth. Yet she's still a slave and everybody knows her. Yes, Africa's a slave and time is her slave owner. But will she bow and bend to their influence, or is her strength enough for her sustenance? Oh, Africa, she may be a slave today, but even in bondage, she'll never fade away. For she is a sprout from which all nations depart. The only true freedom is in the African heart. And deep in that heart, there stands a giant who triggers the rise of a race defiant. And the main point of this, the takeaway, is the line broken chains, but no one knows. I've never been extremely affluent. I've never been in a position where I can really change things, but thanks to my background, I've been able to speak with some of the, basically school with some of the elite, white elite, and some of the people. And I've come to realize that a lot of the time, most of the bondages are in our minds. And I believe if we are confident in who we are, because there's a lot of value in who we are, but if we're confident in who we are and we back it, we can achieve above and beyond. The sky is our limit, and now is the time for Africa. So I think I'll end on that note. Thank you guys so much for organizing this event. It was an amazing event. I think I get second Prince's kind of contributions as well. But nonetheless, there was a short turnaround time. I know because I'm friends with Prince, and you guys pulled off an amazing event. So really grateful.
Thank you.
And everyone. Amazing.
Thank you so much. That was great closure to our summit today. Thank you all. We enjoyed it lots, that we are like more than 40 minutes. We passed the time by more than 40 minutes. Thank you so much. And I will ask Prince to turn off the summit.
Hello.
Thank you. Bye.